So welcome back to the Beacon Hospital coverage of the ICCR, Digital Motorsports ICCR here at Mondello Park. Going racing again, more tin tops saloons out there, and it's the Precision Graphics Future Classics Championship. Paul Flanagan will start this one on pole position in the little Clio 172. Alongside him will be David Hammond in the little giant killing Fiat Uno. Then Donald Cullity in the Honda. Robert Doherty, also Honda mounted. Tom Woolard, Mondello Park instructor in 888, the little white MX-5. Then Ian Thornton. Then it's Graham Carroll, Luke Marmion, Pat O'Malley, Con Quinlan, James Marmion, Alan Lannan, Paul Walsh, Miles Redmond, Phil Lawless and Gilbert Clancy. So the last set of those cars, Future Classics and Super Future Classics at the front. So just the gap in the grid would suggest to me they're just 4 Super Futures, as they call them. That's Flanagan, Hammond, no, there's 6. Flanagan, Hammond, Cullity, Doherty, Woolard and Thornton. So coming down to the grid now. Beautifully prepared car of Paul Flanagan as always on the front row of the grid. Little Clio 172. David Hammond in the Uno, that's about 100 brake horsepower, I think, as he's coaxed from this little 1290 cc 8-valve engine. The one-make Unos were massive here, factory supported back in the 90s, and David was involved in the introduction to that series. And the only one to still run an Uno here. It's extremely lightweight, but he hasn't got the power of the cars around him, but it's very, very nimble and he drives it well. And Donald Cullity in the beautifully turned out Repsol Honda Civic Coupe on row 2. Then Robert Doherty, plenty of power for Robert. He should be able to get away here. Look at that, it's got a gap ahead of the black Civic on the left-hand side. He should surely be able to outgun, I'm not sure about all of them, but the Uno in front without a problem at all. And watch out for Woolard, the rear-wheel drive car might get a jump off the line. The little MX-5. And Thornton alongside him in the powerful Celica as well, another nicely turned out car. Graham Carroll on pole for the Future Classics element of it. Hammond gets a cracker, moves across on Flanagan, tries to give him the big squeeze as they head away out of our shot, and he does get ahead, but as I predicted, Robert Doherty just drives by them all. Huge power in that Civic down to the first corner, no problem for him at all. Pulls in front of the little Uno and takes the lead. Then it's Flanagan. Then it's Cullity in that beautifully turned out Honda. Great variety of cars as ever in Future Classics. So there is, if you're not familiar with this class, it's at barrier time. If you break the barrier time, you get a penalty to keep costs down in the class. So you get a 10-second penalty if you break it, and if you break it a second time, you get another 10-second penalty. So they've got to be a little bit careful here. 107 dead, I think, is the barrier time for the Super Future Classic class. They come back towards us now, down into the S's. You can't break it, or it's highly unlikely to break it from a standing start. So really trying hard on cold tires, these guys, as they head around the S's for the first time. Phil Lawless in there too, in the little 1.7 Puma-powered Fiesta Zetec. Doherty leads. Flanagan up the inside on the brakes and gets the job done on Hammond. So Doherty goes by 1:11.507 from a standing start. 1.7 seconds ahead of anybody here. Flanagan. Then Hammond, Cullity, Marmion. Woolard, I think, possibly getting a little clip from Marmion there. I'm not sure as they went out a shot. They've swapped places, I think. There's that Repsol Honda. Absolutely beautifully turned out car. Donald Cullity. He's in Super Futures, running fourths now. Doesn't quite get it into the apex there. On the way up the hill, hard to do, especially in today's weather. It's so warm. A lot of drivers saying severe lack of grip out there. That's one of the Fiestas climbing well up. I think that's probably Phil Lawless. Indeed it is. It's up 7 places on the first lap. Watch out for that Fiesta. It looks like a Zetec, but it's actually got a 1.7 Puma engine. It's for sale. Phil Lawless has 2 of these cars for sale. Very potent car for Future Classics. So he's closing in on Graham Carroll. In fact, that's for the lead of the Future Classics class, this lower class. Carroll goes down the inside. Lawless high and wide, trying to get a run at him on the way out, which is what he does. He's got up alongside the Punto. He should have more power than not much in it on the main straight. Those Puntos somewhere around 110 brake horsepower, the one-make class. There were 1400cc engine in them. Originally from a Fiat Tipo, but they were on a race cam and a twin-choke carburetor. Oh, Lawless down the outside of the brakes, though, it takes it away. He's off forming the Zetecs this weekend. He'd be keen to do well in this one. He's having terrible car trouble. with his normal Ford Fiesta Zetec. So he'll be keen for a good showing here, and that puts him into the lead of future classics. Somebody gone off. It's Lenan. Safety car's out. That's Lenan, I think it is, in the gravel. Oh, I think he'd be able to drive out of there, but the gravel well raked and very, very loose, so you can't get it out of there. It's just getting wheel spin. You can see it there in the John Lenan Motors car. The Fiat, Jeep and Opel dealer, rat new. The safety car boards are out and waved yellows are out, but some of them still racing there quite clearly, coming around the S's. Should have all spotted it, I think, by now. That should be a relatively easy recovery, hopefully. St. Paul Flanagan. Not sure where, but 109 for Future Classics, 107 for Super Future Classics. They're the two barrier times. You can see that here in the live timing. So Barry Swan there in the rescue unit. We'll hook that car up pretty quickly. There's the BMW Ireland safety car. All electric this year. A potent bit of kit. We had that down here during the week. And well capable of circulating at saloon car racing speeds if needs be, but that's not what it's there for. BMW will have the flashing lights on, and they'll stay on until the car is returning to the pits, and then they'll go off to signal to the drivers behind. Okay, well, Paul Flanagan has broken the barrier time. That would explain it. He's down in 9th place on the timing screen. He's in 2nd place on track, but he's done a 106.9 already, 106.8 actually already. So broken the barrier time and a 10-second penalty for him. There's John Rockaberry Swan just pulling that punt up to safety. Should be almost ready to go, but just as they're getting that car out of the way, the BMW Ireland safety car has gone past the pit lane entrance, so we'll have one more lap behind the safety car. A lot of miles being put up on the safety car today at Mondello Park. 9 minutes 44 still to go on this one, though. Plenty of sorting out to be done. Robert Doherty leading the Super Future class, and Phil Lawless, I think. No, Marmion, Luke Marmion it is leading the Futures. Toyota Celica. So lights, I would imagine, will go off the safety car this time around. They're off, just out of shot. So that car will now accelerate and pull away from the pack, and it's up to Robert Doherty as to when he wants to get back to full racing speed. But we're about to go racing. He leads the pack down now. BMW safety car is already headed for the pit lane. Just slowing them right down. He can go pretty much whenever he wants. Flanagan right with him. No gaps there at all. We saw some races here yesterday where a lot of the less experienced drivers left massive gaps to the cars in front. When you know the safety car lights are gone off, you know you're going back racing. So you need to be right on the back bumper of the car in front. So no, Doherty doesn't take a full racing line, but nails it on the way out of the corner. Flanagan goes with him. Hammond with a good run out too. And Cullity, then Tom Mullard going nicely. And Thornton and Marmion side by side. Green flag, we're back racing. Phil Lawless there in the little navy blue Zetec closing in. That's the battle for the Future Classics lead. I should say the Celica and the little Fiesta there. Doherty just opening out that gap again. Flanagan very quick through the double right-hander, though, closes him down just a little bit. Little Cleo's very nimble. Lawless now beginning to give Marmion the work over there for the future classic lead, and that's Graham Carroll right with them. And Gilbert Clancy in the Celica there too, Con Quinlan. All the rest coming through. So Doherty leading this one outright. That's the fifth place battle we're looking at there. Here's our leader, Flanagan still shadowing him. Almost contact there as Thornton getting down the inside of Cullity there, staying apart. Marmion and Lawless absolutely together there. Thornton 6 dead, that's going to be a penalty for him. It's a full second under the barrier time. Ian Thornton in the Celica at 106.074. So 9/10 quicker than the barrier time is allowed, so that gives him a 10-second penalty and drops him back to 11th place. So Flanagan as well, remember, has it, so the order on the timing screen is Robert Doherty, David Hammond and Donald Cullity in the little Repsol car third. Thornton in the Celica now really on the move, but he has broken the barrier time, remember. So drives down the outside of Hammond in the little Uno on the brakes. Understeers a lot though, and the Uno comes back at him. We should have it in a straight line here, surely. Celica indeed he does. Just drives up alongside. Another one there, is it? Let's see. Just looking at the times. The screen a little bit slow updating, so just bear with me on that one. Cullity now with a 6.778. That gives him a penalty. Flanagan under pressure. These two guys have both got penalties. So Doherty leading hasn't. He's done a 107.4 last time round. So penalties have been awarded to Flanagan, Thornton and Donald Cullity. So Hammond in the Uno, 4th place on the road, but actually in 2nd place. Flanagan goes defensive. Thornton tries to get up the inside, but the Clio has plenty of pace in a straight line. So nowhere near a racing line for the leader, just goes down the centre of the road there. The other two side by side behind them. So the order now, Doherty, Hammond and Woolard in the little Mazda MX-5 now, showing in 3rd place. So Marmion and Lawless now getting barrier times broken in future, both of them, I think. No, they're not. Apologies, they're not. That's a red arrow. They've gone down a pace. We're just getting used to new screens here. That's somebody's moved up. Cullity's moved up one. Flanagan back up to 4th place despite the penalty. This is as these lead group pulls away. A 10-second gap can be enough to move you back up a few. There's Tom Woolard. There's Marmion and Lawless together, coming down into the S's. Then it's Carroll and Gilbert Clancy. And Pat O'Malley in the little Mini. Well prepared little car, looks great. That's also used in junior minis, that car. And in fact, he's done a 9.7 in it, which is pretty competitive time in junior minis. And those junior drivers wring the neck of them. So Pat O'Malley going quite well in that little Mini R50. In fact, he's just got by Gilbert Clancy, who I think is slowing slightly on the main straight. That puts him up in place. Puts him up to 4th in the Future Classics class. So Thornton yet again breaks the barrier time. I think he's back down to 14th place now. But actually closing on the leader in real time. We could get a scrap out front on track. Robert Doherty still leading this one, but under pressure now. He won't know. They're not allowed pit signals or lap timers in this class, so they won't know whether they have penalties or not. Doherty goes very defensive down the inside, high and wide. For Thornton, who tries to get up the inside. and Doherty 105.990. So Doherty smashes the barrier time there by over a second as well. And so Thornton with a 5.547. So both of those cars a second and a half under the barrier time that time round. So Doherty must have had to turn it up a little bit when he was under pressure for the lead, but that's dropping him right. That allows David Hammond to take the lead in the Little Uno. So a lot of barriers, a lot of penalties being applied here. We saw this the first ICCR meeting as well. So here they come, round the left-hander. Out to the outside now, heading up towards the braking zone. Once again, Doherty down the inside. Thornton high and wide. Try and get a run at him. Doherty beginning to weave around a little bit. And a 5.9 again and a 5.9, both of them. So still a full second under it. That gives them both 10 seconds more each. Good battle coming onto the straight here for the between Lawless, who's just got right round the outside of Marmion in the little 1.7 Fiesta. Salika a little bit quicker in a straight line, though. Marmion going back at him, and here they come down into the braking zone. Lawless gets it done, though. Moves across in front of him. This is for 6th overall, but for Future Classics bragging rights. And they've caught Tom Woolard, who's in the Super Future class. Oh, Marmion up over the inside curb there in the Salika. Oh, 3 abreast coming out of Campion corner. It's brave stuff from all 3, it's got to be said. Woolard under big pressure from the 2 Future Classic cars. Lawless has the nose down the inside. He'll force the issue. He does. And Woolard has no choice but to back out of it through the first apex there. Marmion down the inside as well in the big Salika. So these guys first and second in the Future Classics class. In the Supers, it's Hammond leading. There's the checkered flag. So we'll have to wait a moment for the screen to sort itself out. They both break the barrier time again going by, so they're going to be well back, I think. There'll be a few barrier times applied there, but they're well ahead, so they mightn't fall back that much. Looks like David Hammond takes the win in the Little Uno from Paul Flanagan, Doherty, Cullity and Thornton. Oh, it's a drag race to the flag. Who's it going to be? Surely the Salika's quicker. It is, just about. And Marmion just pips Lawless. And they don't break the barrier time, so they win. Future Classic win from Marmion, from Lawless. That's 7, 7, 7 and 17, and they come 4th and 5th overall. Great stuff. Hammond taking the win in the Uno there, despite the fact that the 2 Jap cars were well up the road, but they went too quick on a number of occasions. So a lot of penalties applied to both Robert Doherty and Ian Thornton there. And in fact, 105s their fastest laps on a couple of occasions. So just a little bit too quick. Penalties applied to 27, 33, 69 and 7, it says here on the timing screen. So great entertainment from Future Classics, but it's David Hammond in the Little Uno who takes the win. The only one not to get a penalty really from the first group of cars there. It's great entertainment. Precision Graphics Future Classics Championship. You can get out of that, somebody just limping down to the line. Paul Walsh, that is, but getting to the checkered flag. Obviously has a problem with that car. Very slow last lap, but gets to the flag, gets himself some points. Just obviously trying to get a finish there. I was just going to say, very cheap class to get into. It's some of the cars there, a few €1,000 will get you out on the grid, which is entry-level motorsport at its best. There's always something around. They nearly always have a spare car sitting around as well. They'll be out later on again in the afternoon at the ICCR, the Digital Motorsports ICCR, and you're watching the Beacon Hospital live stream here. So next up, Formula Boss Ireland, the fastest cars racing here this weekend. So it should be a good race. It's got plenty of F3 cars. They're always incredibly quick and they're hovering around lap record pace. So Tony Greenan going to start it on pole position with Barry Rabbit alongside. It's those two just coming up towards us now. So not a particularly quick day lap times wise at Mondello Park, but these guys both doing low 50s. Very quick. Then Michael Roach, 46 there. 26 is Dan Daly. Incredible to see Dan Daly back out. He's been racing for many, many years now. A huge supporter of these younger drivers and of the class, of course. Then it's Shane Rabbit in the Formula Renault. Daniel Fardy. Michael Connolly. Rob King in the Radical. Kaylee Cole in the Formula 1000. Gary Graham. Alex Wilsden. Roland Doherty. Johnny Keating and Mark Dempsey. Head round to their warm-up lap. So 14 cars on the grid, looking good. Pace very, very quick in this class this year. Two warm-up laps for these cars. Get the big wide slicks up to full temperature. So two F3 cars weaving around. Very important to get heat into these tires, of course, and brakes. These are proper, pretty much state-of-the-art. They're late model F3 cars. They're not cheap. They're very, very very potent cars, very quick, take a lot of driving, very responsive to setup as well. Dan Daly's car will not be anywhere near as nimble as them. It's a larger car, much bigger tub. So the last one coming through turn 3, it's Roland Doherty, Mark Dempsey. So the front row men coming towards us. That is Tony Greenan, the Northern Ireland visitor. Very quick driver indeed. Barry Rabbit, well known to us at Mondello. He's had a great career, very successful. And Roach, Daly, Shane Rabbit, Daniel Fardy. That's the first 3 rows of the grid. Car on the marks to perfection. Rabbit on the outside of the front row. Start to be crucial here. Missing somebody there, are we? Michael Roach. Dan Daly coming up, but is Michael Roach gone missing? A lot of confusion. A lot of pointing there, somebody not coming up. Fardy being told to move forward, he does that. And it's the two Radicals of Michael Connolly and Rob King. Seems to be a gap behind them. So two cars, it's Kaylee Cole and Gary Graham haven't come forward into their slots, I don't think. A lot of popping and banging from the rev limiters as we're getting ready to go. Red lights are on. They're out and away they go. Oh, Ronan the Radicals fishtailing across the track there. Greenan does enough. A great start from Shane Rabbit up to 3rd place. Fardy next up. Dan Daly gets boxed out. And down the inside goes Connolly in the Radical. Great stuff. They all make it clear through turn 1. We lost somebody, possibly Kaylee Cole. I think, I'm not sure what happened. Maybe the car died, but I think she may have got going out of shot, hopefully. Here they come down through the double apex right-hander. Barry Rabbit and Greenan locked together. Shane Rabbit next up in the ex-Barry Rabbit Formula Renault, later generation of Formula Renault than the one most guys had in this class initially. A very quick car too. So the two F3 cars making a break. They're so quick as they go through the S's and up towards the final corner. Greenan, Rabbit, Shane Rabbit in third. And it's Faherty. Oh, Rob King with a big lunge to the Digital Motorsports car. Rob King gets up the inside of Connolly. Surely Connolly's car has more power. He does. He comes back at the SR3, but not much in it. This is good stuff from Rob King. He had a good go up the inside there into Southside. Great stuff. The two Radicals battling away. Alex Wilson right with them. Tan Daly must be in trouble there. He's dropped right to the back. That's Cayley Cole and Mark Dempsey with them there as they go around the final corner. First corner, I should say. So the two F3s pulling away. 56-second standing start lap for Tony Green, and that's impressive stuff. Sideways stuff there from Alex Wilson as he tries to hang on to Rob King. There's Cayley Cole, Dan Daly, Mark Dempsey. There's the two leaders now at Southside. Lonely third place so far for Shane Rabbit. Fastest lap for Green and now 51.3, 6/10 quicker than Barry Rabbit as he opens the gap to 1.1 seconds. That's Dempsey off. A spin on the way out of the S's. That's going to be probably a red flag, certainly a safety car. Safety car's out already, but leaders coming around there very quickly. Very, very quickly full. That's scary stuff. Full speed through there for an F3 car. There are waves yellows. The red flag is out. I think that's a good decision. That's an uncomfortable place to be parked. Nobody's fault. The car just won't start, but the red flags are out. Certainly the race had to be stopped there, I think, with that one. The F3 cars just carry so much speed through there. Both drivers were able to adjust their lines. I think I'm just get by on the outside, no problem at all, but not worth waiting to see if everybody managed it. So a little bit of a heart stopper there, but they're already, the first two cars already back on the grid. Red flag there being held up on the main straight. .43 that is. It's Mark Dempsey. Slight delay until that car's removed now from the exit of the S's. Everybody else sitting on the grid, I'm not sure whether they need, some of these cars need assistance to get restarted. But Dempsey back in the car. Guys reckon they can get it going, obviously. Rescue crew there with them. Looks like that car's locked solid, doesn't it? They're not able to push it. They might need a teleporter. Teleporter's on the way out there, I'm told. Might be a bit difficult to get the teleporter under that, but I'm sure they'll manage it, or maybe lift it by the hoop. But either way, it'll be removed in a couple of minutes' time. We'll be able to go back racing here at Mondello Park. So just while we're clearing the track and before we go back racing with Boss Ireland, let's take a quick commercial break.
Continental Tires, Irish Compact Car of the Year 2023. Speaks for itself. The new Opel Astra.
Square left onto loop. Yeah, that's good. Good drive. Keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Rev it up, rev it up. George, go, go, go. One right, immediately followed by a 5 right. Keep it left, keep it left, keep it left. Come on, keep on, keep on, keep on. Keep on, keep on, keep on. Come on, come on, keep going, keep going, keep going.
So that's Roland Doherty, you can see there on screen, just bringing his car back in, unfortunately needing a lift as well. So that's 2 cars we've been missing from the grid in this one. That car's still there, they're simply waiting for that teleporter. It's got to bring the 2 cars in, so it's got to drop Roland Doherty's car and go back out to get that one. They can't move it, they've tried to pull it or push it, it won't, it seems to be completely just locked up. So teleporter heading back out to get that. We'll have another quick commercial break.
Continental Tires, Irish Compact Car of the Year 2023. Speaks for itself. The new Opel Astra.
So there we go, great job. Second car being recovered in the pit lane. Obviously the quickest route to get that off the track. We can go racing again one more time with Formula Boss Ireland. Sponsored by the Dunshaughlin Motor Company this year. Dunshaughlin Motor Company Formula Boss Ireland Championship. That's Barry John McHenry's business. Barry John racing in the UK Fiesta 240 Championship yesterday. Took himself a couple of trophies home. Just getting ready to go. Hopefully all cars get started without a problem. Depleted, but we're ready to go motor racing. New green flag lap this time around. Another warm up. Starter up on the new gantry there on the right hand side, waves the green flag, and away we go. Black marks there from green, and as he heads away, two cars in trouble straight away. Rob King, I think. And Alex Wilston. Wilson's car started but stopped again. Looks like a lot of people out there to give a hand, which is great. Hopefully they'll get that car started. Rob King gets away. Shaking his head. I wonder if he got bigger problems. Oh, it looks like that car's stuck on the grid. We could have a delayed start here. Such a shame. Been going nicely too. I know, it looks like he's out. Car will have to be lifted. Red flags again. Shame, but there's nothing we can do. The teleport will be there pretty quickly, though. It's going to come out the top end of the pit lane, I think. In fact, possibly, it looks like they're going to lift the car over the pit wall, which would be wonderful if we could do that. Great stuff, that's quick thinking there. Should be able to bring the cars back to the grid. There's Rob King coming back round to join them. It's a little bit precarious, but it's going to get the car off the track pretty quickly. That means we can go racing. So well done to everybody involved there. Cars now being brought forward to the grid. So the two Pucca F3 cars on the front row of the grid here. We could expect serious lap times from these guys. It looked like Tony Green was beginning to ease away from Barry Rabbit, but nobody discounts Barry Rabbit. It was a race on at Mondello Park. Shane Rabbit was going nicely there in the Formula Renault on row 2. Beautifully turned out, almost Braun F1 scheme look-alike on that car. Faherty alongside him. Daniel Faherty, that is. And Michael Connolly still there. Rob King has not gone back to his grid position. 2 green flag laps and a 9-minute race, we're told here. I think Rob King should be able to get back up to his grid position, but maybe he'll do that on the green flag lap. We're not gridding them, so let's wait and see. Way to go. This time another. Oh no, Shane Rabbit's got it going again though. I thought for one moment we were going to get another car stalling, but we're all cleanly away. Tony Greenan leading them round now. from Barry Rabbit in the pallet storage car. Both weaving around for the third time, trying to get some heat into these tyres and brakes around the Mondello Park National Circuit 2K. We're out of turn 3 already. Heading back up towards us now. So there's a change in the timetable. In case you're at home watching this, there's a change in the timetable. The ITCC will run after the Legends, followed by Fiesta Zetec. So it's Legends, then it's ITCC, and then it's Fiesta Zetec after this race. So it's Boss Ireland, Legends, sorry, ITCC, and then Zetec. So 2 more laps again. 9-minute race, 9 minutes on the clock here. Rob King in the Digital Motorsports Radical SR3. So somewhat depleted grid of Formula Boss Ireland cars coming up from turn 3 now. Getting ready to go now. Rob King does manage to get back up to where he started, so we might see the 2 Radicals do battle again, although Rob King a little bit down on power compared to that car of Connolly, which just had an outright boss win before. So 2 F3 cars, then a Renault and an F3 on row 2, then 2 Radicals. The revs are up. Who's it going to be? Watch the red lights at the top of the screen. There they are. Out and away we go, and Rabbit I think gets a better start this time. He does. Barry Rabbit leads. I think Shane Rabbit up to have a go for second place, but Greenan should be able to fight him off. No, Shane Rabbit's so late on the brakes, trying to have a go at the F3 cars around the outside in the little Formula Renault. Great stuff from him as they go by, but Barry Rabbit leads. Cracking start from Barry Rabbit, puts him out in front, and he's now got Tony Greenan behind. This could give us a cracking race, because it did look like Greenan was just inching away in race 1. Whereas with Barry Rabbit in front, he's not going to hand this one away. He'd love another Boss Ireland win. Shane Rabbit next up, then it's Connolly, then it's Dan Daly all the way from the back. So good first couple of corners from Dan Daly. 2 F3 cars absolutely together. Greenan thinking about having a look on the brakes there, but Rabbit's got that covered. Out onto the main straight. Greenan looks like he's got a bit of a run here. He's right under the gearbox of Rabbit now on the main straight. Pulls out, and they're side by side going under the bridge. He's got the nose ahead, Greenan, but Rabbit goes back at him and locks the inside front and scrabbles to the apex there and hangs on to his lead. Good stuff, feisty stuff from Barry Rabbit. Wouldn't expect anything less. Connolly goes through. There's Dan Daly as well, but the battle is on up the front. Down to turn 3. No gap down the inside there. Rabbit has that covered. Shane Rabbit doing nicely in 3rd place. Then it's Connolly, then Dan Daly. And it's Faherty, Cayley Cole and Rob King. And that's it, I think. It's Gary Graham, I think. Gary Graham just joining in from the pit lane. Wasn't on the grid, so the back engine cover off that car would suggest they've sorted a problem with it. But he's going to have 2 F3 cars bearing down on him. There must be a problem for Faherty there, and weaving around behind Barry Rabbit is Tony Greenan. But Rabbit is a Mondello man. in the sense that he's got a lot of experience racing here. Greenan has a look down the inside. Rabbit shuts the door. Green looks like he's got a lot of pace. I think Barry's taking his time here, just making sure there are no gaps anywhere. Shane Rabbit all on his own in third place. 2 leaders coming around the S's through the left. Distinctive sound from the F3 cars. Very quick through the right-hander. Rabbit makes sure he's very quick through there, so there's no gap up the inside. The last minute just covers that inside line slightly. Rabbit holds the inside line again. Green and high and wide. Rabbit just placing the car wherever Greenan wants to be. And even with this scrap, they're still pulling away. In the 51s now, though. Catching on Gary Graham now. If Barry Rabbits had headlights, he'd be flashing them now. I'm sure Gary Graham will be fully aware that there are 2 F3 cars bearing down on him. Waved blue flags there on the entrance to turn 1. Oh, and I'm not sure he did know. It was very close there with Barry Rabbit at the apex. There were waved blue flags on the entrance, but Barry Rabbit coming quite close. He had to be decisive there, Barry Rabbit. That's exactly what he did. So Gary Graham there going a lap down. Rabbit still leads. That's Gary Graham, who they just overtook last time round. Rabbit under pressure now from Greenan, who's beginning to crowd him just a little bit. Out of the S's, Rabbit really tries there to try and get a gap. Slams the door at the last minute. Greenan was going to have a good stab up the inside there, but Barry Rabbit had that covered. Had to close the door late on, though. He had a good gap on the way there, but here again, Greenan gets that toe, gets alongside. 2 Formula 3 cars wheel to wheel. Greenan gets the nose ahead, but Rabbit's done enough. Greenan tries to sit around the outside, can't quite do it there. As they head through Campion Corner and out onto the straight down to turn 3. Michael Roach, I think, has rejoined. I see him appearing on our lap chart there in the F3 car. Leaders coming back towards us again by the Beacon Hospital signage. Through the left, through the right-hander. Fastest lap is to Barry Rabbit at the moment of 51.360. We know they're capable of going a lot quicker than that, but they are scrapping away. A locked wheel for Rabbit there, doesn't quite look like he might have missed the apex there, which I don't think Barry Rabbit does very often, if ever. Certainly there would have been a gap there had Roach been a little bit closer. He goes to the outside, back to the inside, but Rabbit has that covered. Again, round the first corner, line is turn. Greenan's car beginning to move around as he stands on the power through Campion Corner now. And down towards turn 3. Once again, Rabbit late on the brakes. Greenan tries to have a go, but there isn't. It's not a puff of smoke on the inside there, just when it goes out of view. I think he's locking a front right wheel, perhaps. Barry Rabbit. Greenan gets that run. He's definitely got a slight advantage on the straight. Well, let's look at that, yeah. Greenan 183 kilometers an hour, 175 for Barry Rabbit. There's definitely a difference in the straight line. Come down into the S's. Greenan trying everything he knows, but Barry Rabbit's got it all covered so far. Out of the S's again. The only place where Rabbit really looks like he's trying. He tries to get an advantage there so he doesn't get nailed up into the final corner. Again, that little puff of white smoke from the inside there. I don't know if he's flat spotted a tire or what it is, but Something happening there. He's a little bit slower on the exit, and that allows Greenan to get this run at him again. Once again, 175 kilometers an hour for Rabbit, 181 for Tony Greenan, so significantly quicker in a straight line. Out to the 52s now. Same old story up at the final corner. Rabbit has it covered on the inside centre of the road. Doesn't make any mistakes. Barry Rabbit's quick start giving us a good race here because Greenan looks slightly quicker. Well, that said, now Barry's not hurrying a little. There it is. He is locking that inside front wheel. I wonder is it flat spotted? It's not like Barry Rabbit to be locking wheels, and he keeps locking that inside front. That won't be good for it. He's doing it into turn 1 and certainly into the final corner. Greenan thinking of a run around the outside there. Turn 3. Rob King is next up the Radical. I don't think it's going too well. He'd been a lot quick out the 58s last time around for Rob King. So they're about to be lapped now by the 2 leaders, but Rob King obviously in trouble. In fact, they've gone by him out of shot. It's the both of them have gone by. There's Rob King obviously struggling out to the 58s. He's done 55s in that car this morning, which is a shame. Rabbit goes through. Greenan goes through. Once again, Greenan gets a run, but nowhere to go. Rabbit putting the car exactly where Greenan wants to put it, both on the way in and the way out of the corner, using all his experience here down into the S's. Incredible pace of these Formula 3 cars on the way up towards the final corner. Once again, Rabbit holds that inside line. Greenan should get a better run, and we know he's got slightly better straight line speed. Rabbit kicks the tail out. Checkered flag is ready below us, and Barry Rabbit takes a fine win in Formula Boss Ireland, the Dunshaughlin Motor Company sponsored class. He'd be a little bit out of breath after that one, and Greenan really did throw everything at him, but Barry Rabbit drove superbly and just rebuffed every challenge. So Shane Rabbit should be next across the line. He's just coming out of the final corner now. Michael Roach has actually caught up with him, but he's a few laps down. And this is Gary Graham, who's joined the race late. And Dan Daly is going to take 4th. And Connolly, Faherty. And then next across the line is Kaylee Cole. That completes the order for Boss Ireland. So we got going eventually, and Barry Rabbit's good start gave us a great scrap there. I'm sure a little bit frustrating for Green, and he really did try everything and looked to have plenty of pace, but Barry Rabbit just putting that car exactly where it needed to be. So he'll be absolutely delighted with that one. As he heads back towards the pit lane. Cars back into the pit lane there. Great job by Shane Rabbit as well. Bring that car home in 3rd place. That's Barry's old Formula Renault. They both upgraded for this year. Barry bought an F3 car and Shane moved up from the old Formula Renault into this newer model. Good drive by him. Lonely drive to 3rd place, but he went well. 53.371, his best. Barry Rabbit with the fastest lap, but almost eclipsed late on by Michael Roach, who went really well, got down to a 51.8. So good stuff from Formula Boss Ireland, and they'll be back out on track later on with Barry Rabbit doing his best to repeat that one, but he certainly used all his racecraft there to hold back Tony Greenan and take that win. Legends being released already. Boss car still in the pit lane there, but the Legends have been released, and here they come at the top of your screen. Richard Spence going to start this on pole position. Anthony Malone will be alongside him. And Willie Lawrence, Declan Burke, Derek Hogan, Lee Malone, Peter Barrable, Owen Lawler, Scott Jackson, Seamus Ryan, Keith Rabbit, Jamie Moylan and Kevin O'Donoghue. Great entertainment in race 1. We won't expect anything less from the Legends in this race 2. The OB racing team running a lot of these cars as ever. Superb setup in the paddock from Paul O'Brien and his team. Great set of mechanics working for him there. They work really, really hard. There's Malone going out. That's Peter Barrable in the MB Motors car, the Michael Barrable Motors car. Scott Jackson going out there. He went very well early on. Legends making their way around on their warm-up laps. The BMW safety car leads them round. Motorbike engines don't do standing starts or rolling starts as they do all around the world. You'll notice flat bumpers front and back on these cars. They use them for bump drafting. They're allowed to push each other along, would you believe? And if they're working together in a team, they quite often do that. The car behind gets a tow and keeps pushing the car ahead. They can use it to make a break. Don't see it as much at Mondello Park. The higher speed circuits in the UK and across Europe and America, you see it quite a lot. You may see it happen in this race though. Peter Barrable, very much the danger man, on form at the minute. He won the 3 races at Kyrgyzstan recently, and he won the first race this morning. So watch out for that Daedlow, highly visible Daedlow yellow car of Peter Barrable back on about row 5. So Robert Spence going to start this in pole position. Anthony Malone on the outside of the front row, remember. Willie Lawrence, the rookie, on row 2. 46 Declan Burke alongside him. He was up in Knockhill recently with POB Racing. And away they go. Distinctive howl of the Legends as they go by. Derek Hogan whipping to the inside of the Pink Panther there, trying to get a place or two up. Watch Barrable though. Barrable down the outside. He always finds a bit of a gap. He's up to, where is he? 5th. Around the outside of Hogan he's trying for here to carry the speed and carry it for turn 2, but Hogan gets in ahead of him, or does he? They're side by side. Is that Willie Lawrence leading? I think it is. The rookie. Barrable up to 5th. That's Anthony Malone in front of him now. Hogan coming with him. Derek Hogan has improved so much as Barrable slots down the inside there. Hogan's just got so quick in these Legends. He's around the outside, side by side. With somebody gone off at the back. Is that Owen Lawler perhaps? No, I don't think so. Very, very sideways for Burke there as he pursues the leader. Round the first bit of the S's. That's 37 coming in. '87 actually. Jamie Moylan, unfortunately, he's very quick as Barrable gets down the inside of 18 there. Their poleman Richard Spence, that puts Barrable up to 3rd place. There's Jamie Moylan, that's a shame. Parked up there for the rest of the race. Barrable going for 2nd now, side by side with Declan Burke on the main straight. He's late on the brakes. Barrable, can he get across the bows of Burke? You think he can. Burke going back at him though at the apex there. And the back of Burke's car squatting as he stands on the power to try and hold that place. But he's on the outside for Campion Corner and Barrable gets through to 2nd place. So already up, almost fighting for the lead. But what about Willie Lawrence, a rookie, one of only 2 rookies in this race. Willie Lawrence driving superbly out front of the blue car. He's going to have Barrable breathing down his neck in a minute, but he's having a moment of glory here and he's making the best of it. A cracking start from him from row 2. Gets into the lead and gets out there. He doesn't look rattled at all, but Barrable having a look down the outside. Thinks the better of it, tucks in behind him. Certainly got plenty of pace, Willie Lawrence. Barrable only gaining fractions. Gets a good run off the S's though, as he has done all day. He tries to get up the inside. He's got up the inside. Barrable gets the job done on the brakes. Slows it right down. Lawrence up over the inside curb. Thinking about a switchback. He's not driving like a rookie, is he, Willie Lawrence? This is great stuff. Tucks in behind Barrable now on the main straight. And that's fastest lap to Peter Barrable as well. 104.909. Oh, no problem for the rookie. Willie Lawrence, there he is round the outside. That's such a shame. That was a great drive, only 2 laps of it, but a really good drive. It's a name we'll watch out for in the future. Willie Lawrence there, and that hands the rookie lead to Kevin O'Donoghue as he heads back towards the pits. There's 2 cars out already, unfortunately. So Peter Barrable leads by 7/10 at the end of that lap. Declan Burke in second place now. Richard Spence up to third. Then it's Derek Hogan. We did say watch out for him. Hogan down the inside, nice tight line there around the S's, and he's closing down Richard Spence now, who was on pole in this one, the red car. Six minutes 46 to go on this one. Lee Malone up over the inside curve there, trying to get a run, but Anthony Malone doesn't quite do it. Neck and neck. Seamus Ryan trying to have a go at both of them. It could be 3 abreast very easily. Declan Burke backing it in nicely there, getting the car a little bit out of shape on the brakes down into the first corner. Owen Lawler and Scott Jackson absolutely together. Then Keith Rabbitt's car short on straight line power we saw earlier. It's his first time out in Mondello in the car. I think he did Kyrgyzstan in it. He's got Kevin Doran helping him. So Kevin Doran doing a little bit of tuning and fiddling as only he can with this car, but I think with the engine down on power there's probably nothing they could do today. But Keith always good to watch. Known to us from the Zetec Championship of course last year. Previously raced in ITCC and many other classes. Oh, sideways stuff there from Malone coming out of the S's, just through the left-hander. Approaching the right, there's Barrable now hard on the brakes, way out in front. Somebody getting out of shape in the background. Barrable fastest lap, leading by 2.2 seconds already. 80 in there, Richard Spence going nicely in third place. Second, third, fourth and fifth pretty equally matched. There's nobody making big gains there as we look at the lap times. All lapping around the 105.5 mark. So Barrable, Burke, Spence, Hogan, Lee Malone, Owen Lawler up a place, Anthony Malone down 2, Scott Jackson, Keith Rabbitt, Seamus Ryan, the order, and Kevin O'Donoghue. None of this bothering Peter Barrable now, who's almost 3 seconds ahead and fastest lap again last time around, 104.302. A little bit of smoke from Derek Hogan's car as he gets the power on there. We did notice that in the race 1 from a few of the cars. It's Anthony Malone and Scott Jackson getting sideways there in the entry to the final corner. Somebody has Lee Malone way down in straight line speed there. Fastest is 100. Derek Hogan, 145.95 kilometers an hour faster than Peter Barrable through the speed trap. That's the pink car in your picture on the left there. Big stamp down the inside for Hogan, doesn't quite come off, trying to get himself up onto the podium, but Richard Spence would love to hang on to that podium position. It's Barrable, Burke, Spence and Hogan now. Lee Malone in fourth place and Owen Lawler. So Barrable still leading 3.2 seconds to the good. Just looking at the speed trap figures, 141.3 for Barrable, 143.2 for Spence, 145.5 for Derek Hogan and 146.9 for Owen Lawler. So Hogan and Lawler with the quickest straight line speeds through the speed trap there. Seamus Ryan 144 as well. So Barrable's car not particularly quick in a straight line, it would appear. It's quick everywhere else because he's leading this one nicely. There's Hogan again with another go up the inside, but number 18 not having any of that. Richard Spence just keeping that door firmly closed. Hogan looking determined here though in 4th place. 63 tucks in behind Spence now as they go by. Both doing a 106 dead that time round. And again a big stab down the inside for Hogan. Spence just closes the door. Hogan almost got down the inside there, didn't he? Everyone beginning to move around just a little bit and get sideways in the closing stages. It is just a minute and 20 to go. It's very much battle on. If you took Barable out of the equation, look how close they all are. This is 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. And once again, Hogan with an earlier run this time tries to get alongside on the main straight. Almost gets alongside. Can he do it on the brakes? He's going in really late in the brakes, Derek Hogan. He's got the nose ahead. He's got round the corner first. If he can just hang on for Campion corner, I think he can. That's a good move by Derek Hogan. He's got it done. Gets a little bit out of shape going through Campion corner though, and that allows Spence to come back at him on the outside. They're side by side again on the run down to turn 3, but I think Hogan's turn enough. He might get himself a podium in the closing stages of this one as they get out to turn 3. And in fact, Lee Malone looking for a piece of the action here as well and bringing Owen Lawler with him. So it's all closing up in the closing stages of this. 31 seconds to go. Checkered flag is already ready below me as Barable makes his way out of the second last corner. But look at this battle. It's Lee Malone bouncing all over the curbs. He tries to get by Spence. There's Peter Barable. Gets turned in, no problem for him. It's going to be marginal as to whether or not they get the checkered flag this time. They won't. Just 7 seconds to go as Barable goes by, so another lap. And Declan Burke driving beautifully in 2nd place, no problem for him, but Hogan under massive pressure from Spence. Owen Lawler, who's gone down the outside of everybody, and Malone on the inside. That slowed them down a little bit. That's allowed to, another place change perhaps there. It's allowed Derek Hogan a little bit of breathing space. Scott Jackson and Seamus Ryan still going at it in the background. Great battles in Irish Legends. This race 2 out of 3, of course. There's 63, the Pink Panther, as Derek Hogan calls his car. He's got into a podium position now. Malone right over the inside curve trying to get a run at Spence. Lawler right there too. This is for the final time down into the main arena. Through the left-hander, no mistakes for Hogan. Through the second bit, the back of the paddock. Very quick through there in all these cars. No problems for Peter Barable though. Looks like he's on course for win number 2. Hand out the window. Barable takes 2 out of 2 in Irish Legends. Declan Burke, a great drive to 2nd place and a good charge up to 3rd for Derek Hogan. Then it's Spence, Malone, Lawler, Scott Jackson, Anthony Malone, Seamus Ryan and Keith Rabbit. So great stuff from Legends and highly entertaining, especially in the second half of the race there. So really good stuff. So next race out will be the Precision Tint and Graphics Irish Touring cars. So a couple of cars had issues in that earlier. Hopefully they'll be able to get that fixed and get them back out in the grid. We'll see that. We'll name check them when they come out of the assembly area. Down for the pit lane to head out for their green flag lap. So Irish touring cars will be released shortly, and we'll just have a quick commercial break while we're waiting for that.
Continental Tires, Irish Compact Car of the Year 2023. Speaks for itself. The new Opel Astra.
So Irish touring cars out on track, just finishing their green flag lap. Stuart Curran will start this from pole position, top six reverse. Remember, Rob Savage, the championship leader, terrible run in the first race. I spoke to him briefly at lunchtime. The car's running too hot today at Mondello. It doesn't like this hot weather, and it keeps going into limp mode. So he was doing a slow lap, a quick lap, a slow lap, a quick lap. Potentially the quickest combination here. If they've done anything to fix that car, that brand newly built Campbell Motorsport car on the outside is extremely quick, massive power. Ran away and left everybody sitting in Bishop's Court earlier this year. So this could be interesting stuff. Then it's Paddy Howley in the beautiful rear-wheel drive BMW M3, the orange Jägermeister livery on that car. Then Owen Drought, the Ross Cray motor dealer in the Golf. Pretty much the master of the standing start. He'll be looking to get down the outside of Savage. He's closest to Savage, I think, in the championship. Perhaps not, actually. Had a non-finish in Bishop's Court. He's had a win and a second already, so that'll be interesting. Then Cian Walsh, who really has thrown his hat in the ring for the touring car title chase. Now, that incredible win this morning, he really did drive well. That's the black Civic there, right in the middle of your picture. Then the Honda Cup cars. Honda Cup cars can be run quite cheaply in relative terms. They don't use slicks and wets, and they're very simplistic regs, but it's got three drivers out so far: Stephen Martin, Colin Morris and David Flynn. Watch out for Flynn with the black bonnet right at the back, capable of having a go at some of the big touring cars at the front here. The touring class cars are getting ready to go. The red lights are on. Watch Drought in the Golf, always quick off the line. He gets a cracker again, but it's no problem for the Accord by the look of it. They head down towards turn one. Now Drought gets it from the second row of the grid. Somehow manages to do his trademark standing start, and just down the outside of everybody goes Owen Drought, and he takes the lead. but he's got Savo behind him, and if this Honda doesn't overheat, the mirrors on the Golf may do, because this is going to be a good battle. These two have battled so hard all year long. They had some cracking battles at round 1 of the ICCR, and they could give us some great entertainment here today. Owen Drought now in the Golf, an unusual car for Irish touring cars. Honda seems to be the chosen route for most of these guys. A little bit wide again. We saw this the last time. The Golf not handling particularly well. He's talking about going testing and changing suspension settings on the car, but it just looks a little bit ungainly, a lot of body roll for the car, and looks a bit hard to drive, but certainly he's got away a little bit. Oh, what's the wonder, is that Savage's car giving trouble already? Cian Walsh not having a great start, losing a lot of places there. But look at that. I did say watch out for the car with the black bonnet. That's David Flynn all the way from the back, and he's up to 3rd place, and that's a Honda Cup spec car. Shouldn't be anywhere near these cars. Drought out onto the main straight. Let's see how quick this Honda really is, but no, the Golf is every bit as quick. Nothing in a straight line as they go by. So Owen Drought still leads, holds the centre of the road down into the first corner. Savo not being able to go on him just yet. This was a carbon copy of one of the races here the last day out, but certainly when they got to Bishop's Court, just the wide open spaces, and that Honda really looked at home, and the suspension was well set up. It was soaking up curbs, and Rob Savage drove it beautifully, and nobody touched him all the time, but certainly Drought making him work for it here at Mondello Park. Down into turn 3, getting the car stopped at the second apex, gets right into the apex, so gets a run, but will that leave a gap on the outside? No, he gets good traction off the corner, and nothing Rob Savage can do there. So Drought maybe must have been watching the Barry Rabbit race perhaps, because that's what he's going to have to do. But look at Flynn all the way from the back in the Honda Cup car, hauling them both in. The lap times, we'll see how they're going on the way round, but Drought backing them all up there through the S's. Savage on the outside, Flynn having a look down the inside of Savo. The two Hondas side by side. Flynn's up over the inside curb. It's a drag race now. Wonder could Flynn get up to the lead. He looks very, very quick, doesn't he? The Golf eases away from them both a little bit on the straight. Rob Savage's car can't be running right. I can't imagine that Accord wouldn't be up alongside the Golf. It's certainly able to dispose of that Integra. But David Flynn, absolute giant killer here today at Mondello Park. And now Cian Walsh beginning to move up. He's up a couple of places there, and he's back up to 4th place overall. Flynn now looking in his mirrors as Savo tries to close him down on the way out to turn 3, but the little Integra going beautifully. Number 17 there, David Flynn, leading the Honda Cup obviously, but up to 2nd place overall. Drought now beginning to inch away just a little bit in the Golf. The times are way out for all of them. In fact, very slow lap times. I know it's really warm out there, but 104 dead for Drought, and he's quicker than everybody else. Bar Walsh, 102.3. So Walsh with good pace here. Remember, Walsh's pace stayed strong all the way to the end in race 1. So that's going to be Drought's big issue here, I feel. 4 cars together, and Howley not too far away either in the BMW. The Golf comes out of the final corner there. It's got plenty of speed in a straight line. Walsh gets alongside Savage there. Walsh on the outside, Savage on the inside. Rob Savage coming back at him on the brakes though. Walsh tries to go around the outside. He manages, I think, up onto 3 wheels. Think he's done it. He should be ahead for Campion Corner. Walsh looking very strong here in the black Civic now. Savage trying to go back at him, but that Honda just seems to, it only goes when it wants to go, that Accord. But believe you me, when that car's on song, it's extremely quick in a straight line. This will be hugely frustrating for Rob Savage. He's having a great season in the car, but it's just giving him problems there. Once again, Flynn's car looking more nimble than Drought's, and just getting right up to the back of him before the Golf opens the taps on the way out of the corner. It's got good traction and plenty of straight line speed, but it doesn't look happy on the tight corners. Cian Walsh, the danger man, now up to 3rd place. Very, very quick. Fastest lap now, 61.7 last time round for him. He goes up the outside now, lines it up. He should be able to get by that Integra, perhaps in a straight line. Drought slows them all down and then uses the power of the Golf to get away, but I'm not sure he'll be able to do that with Walsh, who gets to the inside, tries to squeeze between the barrier and Flynn, but there's nothing wrong with Flynn's car in a straight line, and there's nothing Cian Walsh can do about it. I thought Walsh would at least draw up alongside. No way, David Flynn not having any of that there. And this will play to Owen Drought's strength, but still 10 long minutes to go in this one. Cian Walsh can take his time here. He's certainly got plenty of pace. 61.8 last time round, 62.5 for Drought. So David Flynn now closing in on Drought at the 2nd apex there. That's where the Golf just doesn't look happy there at all. So Savage back in 4th place. He'll be thinking of championship points. Probably has the calculator out there in the car. Knows exactly what he's got to do. Just stay as high up as he can. He doesn't need to worry about that lead battle. He just wants to finish this one and get some more points. So great to see 3 different cars battling for the lead in Irish touring cars. A lot of interest in the class and some more cars being built. And that's what happened last time. Big lock-up for Drought. The car lost gears. Looks like it's going to do the same again. Will it keep going this time? It will, but only just. They're side by side on the straight, and the Golf has just enough power to come back at him. Needs to close the door there, but in race 1 he said that the car locked up and then wouldn't get gears, but he just managed to close the door. But Walsh goes down the outside on the brakes and sweeps around the outside to take the lead. And the Golf just a flat problem again on the way up into the final corner. It's cost him the lead and a potential win, but Walsh was looking very strong all the while from the back there, and he's out in front now. So there's your 1, 2, 3. Walsh, Drought and David Flynn. And Flynn, of course, leading the Honda Cup as well. Some very impressive stuff from Flynn. The Integra looks like it handles so well when it gets behind the big lumbering Golf there. That Golf obviously does need that little bit of testing, but even if it has it, the Honda's handled so well. And there's Flynn, just slices down the inside. Cracking move into the S's. Takes second place. So Flynn now leading the Honda Cup and up to second place overall. Then it's Owen Drought who's having a look down the inside there. Doesn't lock the wheels up on this occasion. Then Rob Savage, Paddy Howley, Colin Morris, Stuart Curran and Stephen Martin is the order. Drought looking to get a go back at that Integra as they go down the straight. Now to turn 1, the Golf going very wide and getting a bad line through Campion Corner as a result. That allows Flynn to get away. Be interesting to see what times Flynn can get down to. The leader's down to a 61.2. Flynn looks like he can go with him though. 62.9 was his quickest. Then another quick lap from Savage. Savage can bang in the odd quick lap. He's just on a 3.2, his own personal best, but it seems to do one lap and then slow again. And this must be a slower one. He's dropping back. It looked like he was going to join the leaders there for a moment. I think this is going to be a quick lap for David Flynn. Gap was 1.7 seconds to the leader. I'm not sure it's still that big. There's Savage trying to salvage some sandwich points. That was Howley. Here's the leader goes through. 62 dead. 61.884 for David Flynn. That's incredible stuff for Honda Cup spec. 61.884. Big lock up for Drought there again, and a load of understeers. He comes through turn 1. So 61.8. That's 0.6 off the fastest lap. It's impressive stuff. Looks quite at home. It doesn't get to his apex at all that time. David Flynn, I wonder if those tyres going off just a little bit. That allows Drought closer again. He had driven away from him. It's always the problem with a powerful front-wheel drive car, that they can ask too much of their front tyres, and then it just becomes really hard to get them into the apex. And the more you get understeer, the more that works the front tyres again. But Cian Walsh not making any mistakes out front, but certainly Drought feeling that he could possibly have a go at David Flynn again. If he gets a clean exit here. Flynn's very quick on the exit, but we know how quick the Golf is in a straight line. Yeah, Drought quicker than both of those cars in front through the speed trap, but certainly not through the tight corners. Again, the car bouncing a little bit as it turns in, and a little bit of understeer, and that's 2 or 3 lengths gone through that corner, whereas he was right on his bumper into the braking zone. Through turn 2, Campion Corner right out to the curbs, and again, look at the lead through those 2 corners that the Honda has managed to eke out. That was Drought's personal fastest lap of 61.998. That's within 0.6 of the fastest lap of the race, and once again, the Integra goes wide at the second apex of turn 3, and all this good work is done, and Drought's all over him again. If Drought could get a clean run out of the final corner, he has got straight line speed. Look at the understeer on the Integra. Those front tyres are gone. They must surely be. They're not slick tyres on the front of this car. And Drought could surely have a go here. He needs to keep it clean and not have a go up the inside. Stay to the outside. But no, tracks the Honda. And again, that big lockup just looks ungainly. But it's not slow on the way out. He might get that run. There's not much in it as they come down the main straight. No, I think the Golf is a little bit slower. But yeah, it seems to be a problem on the brakes there as well. It's just locking those fronts from time to time. But what Drought needs to do is stay close to him on the way up to the final corner. Stay high and wide. Don't follow the Honda down the inside. Try and get a clean run through it, and he might get alongside on the run to the line. That said, Flynn's car isn't slow, and he's driving it really well. Let's see if Flynn can get into the apex this time. It looks like it just does not want to turn in to the next bit, not the kink. This next bit. Here we go. He slows it right down this time. A little bit better. Doesn't quite get in there, and Drought's right with him now again as they come back up the hill. That's as close as Drought gets here as they come back towards us now with 5 minutes still to go in this race. Down to second gear for most of these cars. They change gear then as they change direction. Some of the Hondas have a different final drive. They'll be third and into fourth here. Again, the Honda a little bit quicker through the second bit of the S's. Center of the road for him. And again, Drought having that look up the inside, and that's not going to happen. He needs to stay high and wide there and get a run on the way out. Again, that just sets him back on the main straight. And even though he's quicker here through the speed trap, he needs to string it all together. Easier said than done, and easy for me to say in the commentary box, but there is a chance he can get a run past here. Won't affect their overall positions, because either way Drought will be second in the touring car class, the super touring class, and Flynn will win the Honda Cup with 4 minutes to go in this one. It's an intriguing battle all the same. Little Honda's so nimble. The Golf very quick in a straight line and actually has good traction off the corners, but here's where the Honda's struggling mightily, and that's not going to get better lap by lap. Again, he just slows it down a little bit more, but Drought right in and onto the apex, and that should close him up again. It does as they come back towards us. Here they come down into the S's, and again, they both need a clean run through here. This is as close as Drought has been. He's up over the inside curb. He's close enough here. It'd be tempting for him to have a go down the inside, but he needs to not do it here. Needs to stay to the outside. Don't have a go down the inside. That's what he's doing this time, but still, look at all the road on the outside. Again, gets it turned in way too late. I think that car is giving trouble. Is it slowing at the apex there? It lost gears earlier when it locked up, but it just doesn't look. It doesn't look like it's getting out of that corner like it should. And no problems for David Flynn. He really is driving so well. He started stone last on the grid, remember. And not only is he leading the Honda Cup, he's second place overall. Meanwhile, 61 dead for Cian Walsh as he drives away out front with 3 minutes to go in this one. And once again, Flynn strings those two corners together really well and gets that lead. Then down into, this is where he's in trouble in the second bit, but he gets close enough into the apex there. And that's further away. He's certainly increasing his lead now, his second place position, consolidating it as they come back down towards us. Through the left-hander, back through the right-hander. Great sound effects from these cars. You can hear them out the door of the commentary box here as they go through the second bit of the S's. Once again, Drought up the inside there. It's just costing him time on the exit. Out onto the main straight now. Let's watch the figures as they go by. Walsh 152 kilometers an hour, 146 for Flynn, and 158 for Drought. The Golf's a flying machine on the straights. It's just that exit from the final corner isn't allowing him to get near the Honda. Change in timetable telling us on the screen. Fiesta STs will follow this race. So race 2 for the Fiesta STs will be next up. Once again, Drout's possibly a little bit closer this time round. Great race by David Flynn. Cian Walsh too, of course, he's up the road, but Flynn holding this Golf at bay. 1 minute 39 to go. So they'll probably get 2 more laps, I'd imagine. Out of the S as they come. Drought stays to the outside, was locking that inside front wheel and bouncing around as well. It looks decidedly uncomfortable. Gets the power on at the apex though and gets a good. And even with that bad exit, let's watch the speed trap. 152 for the leader, 141 for David Flynn, 157.2 for Owen Drought. He's got fastest through the speed trap at 161 earlier on in the race. Savage 139, so obviously his car has gone back into limp mode. Drought trying so hard to string the lap together. It looks like the car's a bit of a handful, but he can get up to the back of that Honda. It's actually the last corner is the only place he's getting into real bother. He's very quick through here in the Golf. Gets a good run up out of here. In fact, by the S's, it's generally as close as he's going to get. Look at that, he's within 2 lengths, down to a length as they come onto the brakes. Gets closer again into the S's. Gets the Golf turned in with no problem at all. Clips that inside curb. Very close now as they come through the right-hander for the second last time. Flynn defends. Drought goes with him down the inside. Up over the inside curb. Right out to the curb on the exit. And the Golf beginning to wash itself out a little bit with understeer there. Too much being asked of those front tires, I think, as they go by to start another lap. Both in the 63-second bracket now. A little lock up for the Honda. The Golf closer than it's been, beginning to bounce around. Drought trying really hard now down into turn 1, and the Golf looks like it doesn't like it. as they get through turn 2, Campion corner. He's pretty close here, and we know he's quick through the second bit of turn 3, Drought. So can he mount an attack on this, the final lap? Leader just up ahead of them, but this is where that Integra doesn't like turning in, but a nice tidy run through there from David Flynn. No mistakes that time round. Drought gets the run up the hill again. Look at the Golf coming up to the back of the Integra and on the brakes in here. No problems. In fact, the Integra won't turn in again, goes wide, and Drought gets to within a length of him now and through the right hand corner. Golf should be as quick as bouncing again there, isn't it, as it turns in. Once again, here comes the leader, the winner, I should say. A great win, double win for Cian Walsh. Nobody near him across the road. And this pair, who have had a fantastic battle all the way down from the start of this one. The winner of the Honda Cup is David Flynn, and challenged all the way by Owen Drought, who almost gets it right and gets alongside on the run to the line. Well, they both need a nice glass of water or something after that one. Very warm conditions. Rob Savage making no mistakes there and taking home a ball of points, and I think those points will count when we get towards the end of the season. But great entertainment there from Irish Touring Cars. Here comes Paddy Howley next up. He'll take 5th overall, 4th in Super Touring. And Colin Morris will be 2nd Honda Cup car home. Here he comes in the bewinged Civic. And then Stephen Martin had given him a really good run in the last race, but he's dropped back just a little bit in this one. Here comes down that beautifully presented car. He goes across the line, the Tyre Brigade machine. Some great stuff from the Irish Touring Cars. Highly entertaining there. And they'll head back towards Park Ferme, and they'll be doing a double podium in a few minutes' time with Drew Furlong. And we'll be back on track with the Coffee to Go Fiesta ST Championship and the top 6 reversed with the newcomer on pole in just a few minutes' time. So Coffee to Go Fiesta STs, and we've reactivated the onboard camera, and it's Michael Cullen who is the onboard camera this time round in the Beacon Hospital Men's Health Check car. He won the first race, pretty decisive win, but he starts at 6th place for this one because the top 6 are reversed. And on pole, it's going to be the impressive newcomer from this morning, Sylvie Bartlett, the Formula V man. Alongside him will be young Cian O'Brien. There's Sylvie Bartlett in the ex-Phil Lawless car. And alongside him will be Cian O'Brien. Cian not happy after race 1. Felt he had a little bit too much understeer, and he thought the engine might be down on power as well. He was right up the front last time round, remember, in the Sean Woods Racing and Pro Tune car. And then Roy White, great drive this morning from Roy White. Chris Jones, absolute quantum leap forward for him in terms of pace. He was 3rd. David Dickinson, I spoke to him, he was delighted with 2nd place. He wasn't used to front wheel drive, and has never driven Mondello in a front wheel drive car before. He was 2nd. Michael Cullen took the win. Then it's Trevor Ferrara, Declan O'Driscoll, Max Turley. Max Turley had a terrible first race. I'm assuming there are problems with that car because he's incredibly quick. I did see the Murray Motorsport crew driving the car around the paddock at lunchtime. Always a sign that they fixed something in the car. They're checking it out. So let's hope Max Turley's car is back on form. Then Chris Grimes Sr. and Wayne Laverick, who didn't finish race 1. So I think he's on the grid. He is out there, isn't he? Yes, he is. So there we go, all weaving around. Get a bit of heat into these Nankang tyres they're running this year. So Sylvie Bartlett on pole, Cian O'Brien 555 on the outside of the front row. So the 2-litre, somewhere around 160 brake horsepower in these Fiesta STs. On board again with Michael Cullen. Crystal clear picture there. Michael Cullen aiming for win number 4 this weekend. This will be a difficult one though. He's back to 6th place in this. But it was the same in Strikers yesterday. He won the first race and he won the second race from 6th on the grid. Let's see how he can do. It's been a great weekend, as we said, for LOH Motorsport. They've already had 4 wins, 3 courtesy of Michael Cullen, 1 from Dave McGuire in Fiesta Zetec. They'll be back out again later on. So Cullen starting on 6th with the onboard camera. Sylvie Bartlett, very impressive in race 1. A big ask for him on his first day in Fiesta STs to start from pole position. But he was up to the challenge earlier. Standing start in these might be one of a little bit tricky. It certainly won't be anything like the V's he's used to racing. In V's, you give it maximum revs, dump the clutch, and the fact that they're mid-engine means they squat and go. Fiesta STs don't squat and go. They light up the front tires unless you balance revs and grip to perfection. Look at those 2 LOH cars. They look fantastic. Tricolour flags on the roof. And absolutely mint. The new gold wheels on the car we haven't seen before. It always turned out really, really well. 5-second board is being prepared. And away we go. And Bartlett makes a cracking start, proving me wrong. Great stuff from him. Grabs second gear, gets away. Michael Cullen weaving around, looking for the outside line on the way down to turn 1. We're on board with him. He's up to 3rd. He's up to 2nd. Hard on the brakes for Cullen down the outside. Who's that? Keane O'Brien, we can see in the mirror on the inside. Somehow O'Brien goes back at him now on the exit and just about gets ahead. But that's a cracking start from Michael Cullen. We wouldn't expect any less. Cullen up to 3rd place to Campion corner, and already looking at sniffing around the back of Keane O'Brien, but the front row man not making any mistakes. Look at this, down to 3rd gear, hard on the power. Oh, Keane O'Brien holding onto that drift beautifully, then brakes again, 2nd gear right into the apex for Cullen. Doesn't gain anything on the way out there. These 2 men in front are going nicely, grabbing 3rd gear on the way up the hill now. And Keane O'Brien looking to beginning to sniff around behind Sylvie Bartlett. This is impressive stuff for Bartlett, isn't it, on his first day out in the Fiesta STs. He's leading and leading confidently, with Cullen getting a run now at young Keane O'Brien, and Keane O'Brien gets the ST, hops on the way out of the S's, covers the inside though. I'd cover the inside too if I'd Michael Cullen there, but it's not enough. Cullen dives down the inside at the last minute. He's up to 2nd place. Oh, but down the inside of him, alongside the inside, he's done the manoeuvre that Michael Cullen pioneered years ago. He's had it done to him by Keane O'Brien. He gives him the big squeeze, but it doesn't matter. Keane O'Brien's up the inside, the switchback to perfection. Cullen's so late on the brakes, gets almost alongside the leader now, and outbrakes O'Brien. O'Brien has nowhere to go, he's boxed in. Cullen's looking to sit around the outside of him and get the line for turn 2, and that's what he's done. Campion corner, you can see O'Brien lifting slightly and just getting in behind him, and now Bartlett will be going, oh no, Michael Cullen, I've seen him on the telly. Sylvie Bartlett absolutely superb in Fiesta STs today. Cullen up to 2nd, O'Brien in 3rd, Roy White, Trevor Farrar going nicely, Chris Jones in there too, then it's Dickinson, Laverick and Max Turley looking to make up a place. So great stuff. But what about Sylvie Bartlett? He's leading by half a second at the end of the lap. I think that's possibly slightly more now. But that was cracking stuff from Cullen down into the turn 1 and 2 complex. He went so late on the brakes, but the switchback was affected nicely by Keane O'Brien, but he was effectively boxed in and nothing he could do about it as Cullen sailed down the outside on the brakes. Roy White hangs the tail out over the exit curve at the SSS, does Turley in the background. Look at Cullen now. Super smooth, but so is Bartlett. He doesn't gain anything there. 2nd gear, 3rd gear out onto the main straight. Let's watch the speed trap as they go through. 126 for the leader, 131 for Cullen. So Sylvie Bartlett not quick in a straight line. He's falling down the outside on the brakes and Bartlett fights him off. I don't think so, Michael. So great stuff. 2nd gear. Now watch the grab 3rd gear here as they approach turn 2, Campion corner. Both right in over the curve. Bartlett right to the outside, and he'll stay there on the right hand side now on the way out to turn 3. This is cracking stuff. I'm very, very impressed by Sylvie Bartlett. We expect Cullen to go well. He's the yardstick in this class, but for Sylvie Bartlett to lead him so calmly is really impressive stuff. Keane O'Brien's not done with Cullen just yet, is he? He'd love another go here as he hangs onto the back of him. Cullen gets a better run about at turn 3 though. Gets away slightly from O'Brien. We're on board again. Look at Bartlett lifting the inside wheel. Cullen slightly quicker here. They change gears, they change direction. No, they don't actually. He's going around there in 3rd gear. So Michael doesn't get a better run though. Bartlett, if anything, gets a better run. He does go defensive though, up to the final corner. Cullen high and wide. We know what he's going to try and do here. Get up the inside of the way out, but he can't do it. Bartlett's got good traction out of there as well. 2nd gear, 3rd gear. Now Cullen's car is quicker than Bartlett's in a straight line, has been every lap. Bartlett knows it too. One eye on the mirror, stays to the inside. Cullen goes to the outside. But it's too late. He's late in the brakes, but so is Sylvie Bartlett. He's not going to get around the outside there. Cullen's going to have to force a mistake here because I don't think he's going to... Sylvie Bartlett's certainly not going to be rattled into letting him by, I don't think. So this is interesting stuff, and of course all the time Michael Cullen will be well aware that you can cook the front tyres on any of these one-make cars. You don't want to try too hard early on or you'll be a sitting duck later on in the race. I don't think Keane O'Brien is finished just yet. Fastest lap is to Cullen, but only by a fraction, not even a tenth of a second. Oh, they both go a little bit wide at the second bit of turn 3. We've got 10 minutes and 54 seconds to go. Long way to go for those front tyres. Nobody getting away. First 3 together, then it's 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, and 9th place. Turley in there too. Cullen's still close here, but Bartlett gets a good run. This time he's gone to 2nd and then into 3rd. Interesting. So Cullen trying different things. 2nd and then 3rd. Bartlett goes to the inside. Is he going to leave a gap? No. Cullen follows him because he knows there's somebody behind him, and that's Keane O'Brien. Oh, Cullen might get up the inside this time. Bit of understeer and a little bit wide. Bartlett needs to shut the door, but he hasn't got the straight line speed. We know that now. They're side by side. Bartlett on the outside, Cullen on the inside, and the straight line speed difference finishes the job for Michael Cullen now. Bartlett, sure, he have another go on the brakes, but you won't be able to sit around the outside there, I don't think. Not of Michael Cullen anyway. But nothing to be ashamed of. It's a cracking drive by Sylvie Bartlett. That's probably the end of the fun from our onboard camera, because Michael Cullen, we should have put one facing backwards as well, perhaps. Michael Cullen should really theoretically get away. He dominated the first race here, didn't he, from pole position this morning. Sylvie Bartlett, the big surprise here this weekend. First time out in the Fiesta STs. Great stuff. Then it's Keane O'Brien, Roy White, Trevor Farrar, Chris Jones, David Dickinson, Wayne Laverick, Max Turley, Declan O'Driscoll and Christopher Grimes Senior. They're all very close together in this class. Down into the S's now. Cullen not getting away as perhaps we thought he might. Did fastest lap last time around, including the overtake, so he should be able to get clear of that again. Cullen it is, then Bartlett, then O'Brien. Roy White thinking of a sniff down the inside of O'Brien there. Chris Jones closing in on Farrar now. Chris Jones was really good in race 1, as we said. Ended up 3rd overall. Massive leap forward in performance for him. Dickinson caught down in the middle of the pack there. In the second Beacon car, showed great pace in race 1, but I think maybe he's at 108.2. He's doing similar pace to the cars around him. The time's very slow this time around. Fastest lap at 107.2. That's a second slower than they went earlier on. It must be just getting warmer out there in Clammy. Not getting cold air into the engines, perhaps. Keane O'Brien now trying to have a go at Sylvie Bartlett. But Bartlett's defences are impressive. Took Cullen a long time to get by him. Eight minutes, 25 seconds to run in this. Pretty close stuff in STs. Oh, Turley again, putting a wheel off. I wonder is he down on bar? Let's watch Turley on the main straight here, because normally Max Turley would be, I'd expect him to be right at the front. It's not happening for him today. Maybe it's an engine issue. They're all very, very close together. Heavily policed this class. Not much you can do to the cars either, so together as they go by. Let's watch the main straight. Oh, nothing wrong with Turley's car in a straight line. It's as quick as anybody's. 127, 128 mile an hour for most of them. No difference at all, even Cullen. Bartlett in second place, down a couple of kilometres every time. We saw that when he was wheel to wheel with Cullen. Bartlett pulling away now in second place. Really possibly, if he can hang on there, would be a contender for driver of the day, I think. We expect performances like this from Michael Cullen. We don't expect people to come into Fiesta STs like that and run right at the front. That's what Sylvie Bartlett has done. O'Brien in third place, no overtaking just yet between any of these. They're just all tracking each other, but still 7 minutes to go, so really only at half distance in this race. Cullen down to a 7.2, but a 7.5 last time around, and there's Roy White with a big look down the inside of O'Brien. O'Brien just ignores it and turns in. He wasn't quite on his bumper there either. These front wheel drive cars, if you try that and it doesn't come off, you're just going to use your front tyres too much. Remember, they're not on slick tyres, they're on a treaded tyre. You need to manage the tyres in these races. Can go off quite easily. Cullen with fastest lap again at 107.1, still a second slower than he went earlier, or not quite a second, but almost a second slower than he went earlier. Usually he's able to dip into the sixes, but he's still quicker than anybody else. In fact, everybody else out into the eights last time round. Roy White now desperately trying to close in on the Keane O'Brien car, I should say. O'Brien a little bit closer perhaps to Sylvie Bartlett. They're all running closely to each other, but nobody really having a go. And Cullen gets easing away, 2.1 seconds ahead last time round. There's Cullen now, the beacon car. LOH Motorsport heading for their 5th win of the weekend if Cullen can keep this one going. Was 2.1 seconds, more this time I think. 2.5, Bartlett goes through. Back in the 7, 7-8, 7-8 for Keane O'Brien, 8 dead for Roy White, 8 dead for Farrar, 8-1 for Chris Jones, 7-9 for Dickinson, 7-9 for Laverick. So Dickinson and Laverick with a bit of pace there towards the back of that group. So Cullen, Bartlett and O'Brien, the top 3 with 5 minutes to go. Coffee to Go, the Dublin-based coffee shop chain, sponsoring this one through Graham O'Donnell. Graham McDonald, of course, who raced in this class and won the championship, has moved into Sayets and scored plenty of wins in Sayets Super Cup as well. So putting something back into the racing. There's Bartlett, O'Brien, a gap back to Roy White now, slowing a little bit, and Farrar, Jones. No problems at all for Michael Cullen. Can't believe how close the rest of the pack are. They really are all line astern all the way back to Max Turley, almost at Max Turley. For Max Turley, who's 9th place, or 2nd place to 9th place. Really closely packed. 7-9 for Farrar that time round. Cullen on a 7-3, 7-8 for Bartlett. Still going well, Sylvie Bartlett. Looking quite comfortable in 2nd place, 3 seconds back from Cullen. Declan O'Driscoll must have an issue there because he's normally pretty much right up the front, but not running with the pack today, just a little bit further back. Bartlett again gets a good exit there, no mistake. Dickinson right into the apex, tidy stuff from him at the back of that group. Farrar did a personal best last time around, a 7-9. Still 6/10 off Cullen's effort on that lap. 8/10 off Cullen's fastest lap. Keane O'Brien certainly still hasn't given up. Roy White neither. In fact, it's that Chris Jones trying to get around the outside of the S's. It is, and up the inside goes the second beacon car. Dave Dickinson decided it's time to get my elbows out. See you later, Trevor. Trevor Farrar not letting it go though. They're wheel to wheel. That was a bad lap for Farrar. He's going to lose 2 places there, I think. He tries to get back in behind Dickinson, but Laverick is there. Laverick just driving up alongside him there. So 3 places lost, unfortunately, for Farrar there. He'd been driving beautifully, but if you get boxed out on the outside of a couple of right-handers, it's a bit like NASCAR. You can't get back in, and cars just keep going by you. But that's a good lap from Dickinson. Gets him up to 6th place. We might minimise the slagging that Michael Cullen will give him later on, but I doubt it very much. These guys race Lotus Cortinas in the UK in the Masters series and pre-66 touring cars, and Dickinson incredibly quick in those, but he was telling me he's struggling to get his head around the front-wheel drive thing. Doesn't look like it there with that move. Maybe it's just clicked for him because David Dickinson, pretty quick pilot, did Clio Cup years ago, but he said he's never driven front-wheel drive around Mondello Park, and he's struggling getting his head around it just a little bit. Oh, off goes Turley, and he's trying so hard, isn't he, Max Turley? Just bouncing off the curbs, the exit of the S's there. Not a good day out for him by his usual lofty standards. 2.5 minutes to go in this one. There's Cullen, Bartlett, Keane O'Brien, Roy White, big stab down the inside for some reason. Then Chris Jones, David Dickinson, Laverick, Farrar and Turley. Bartlett managing it nicely, getting the car into the apex, no big understeer there. Some of the other cars hopping around a bit, their tyres getting a little bit worn out from the midfield scrapping. Turley gets a run at Farrar now on the way about a turn 3 at the tail end of this group. Bartlett's confident, isn't he? Stays high and wide, doesn't defend at all. Dickinson, Laverick, Farrar and Turley. 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th. 1 minute and 19 to go in this one. Well, Keane O'Brien may think his engine's down on power, but he's got fastest time through the speed trap, so that'll have to go on the bin. It might be the handling. He was saying he couldn't get the cars pushing on a little bit in the race this morning. A lot of drivers finding that the change in tyres has altered the balance, not the grip level so much, but the balance of the car a little bit, so they've got to change setup to suit that. 28 seconds to go. Starting his final lap now is Michael Cullen. Bartlett again, confident, high and wide, late apex. Here comes Michael Cullen down towards his last lap board, grabs a gear as he goes by us, still in the 67-second bracket, a 7.6 that time round, just half a second off his pole lap, gets turned in. A little bit of the ST hops from Michael Cullen down into turn 1. If you overdrive these STs at all, they do begin to bounce around a little bit. He's well clear now. We're following him around on this final lap. On board, let's drive him down to third gear. Watch the right foot. Down on the power again. Then a little bit out of shape. Hard on the brakes down to second. Gets right into that apex. Minimal lock on. Not much understeer in the car. He hasn't overused the front tires. Into third gear now. Heading up here. Multiple saloon car champion Michael Cullen. European Ferrari champion. He's driven Formula 1 Ferrari. He's driven many cars over the years. Loves his motor racing. And still, as you can see, very quick. Might have had a year or two in the doldrums, but very much back now, working very well with the LOH team on the brakes down to second gear. He's going to give LOH victory number 5 for the weekend. He's going to take his own victory number 4. He's won 2 striker races yesterday. He's going to take 2 ST races today. Fist in the air, thumbs up, and almost a high five to Luke O'Hara as he takes the checkered flag. Great stuff from Michael Cullen. Waves the marshals. Delighted with that one. Gives us a little look in the mirror there. What he's actually doing is checking where the rest of them are. Sylvie Bartlett, I think, has to be my driver of the day so far for second place. That is massively impressive. His first ever day out in Fiesta STs, and Sylvie Bartlett takes second place. Well done, that man. Keane O'Brien, we expect performances like that for him now. He's always up the front. Right White going nicely. Chris Jones again, very impressive in the first race, and held off Dickinson and Laverick in the closing stages there. Then Farrar, Turley, O'Driscoll and Grimes Senior as Michael Cullen drives back in to Park Ferme. So great entertainment there from the Coffee to Go Fiesta STs, and the Beacon Hospital car taking the win, and as well as supporting our live stream here at Mondello Park. So Cullen back into Park Ferme there in the LOH Motorsport car. So Kevin, Luke, John and all the team will be absolutely delighted with their 5th win of the weekend so far. There's the results. Michael Cullen takes the win. Sylvie Bartlett, incredibly impressive in second place. Keane O'Brien in third. Then it's Roy White, Chris Jones, David Dickinson, Wayne Laverick, Trevor Farrar, Max Turley and Declan O'Driscoll. So the S3 drivers back there, they'll be doing a podium now for both races. So ST's doing a podium now for both races after this race. So as soon as they get out of their cars, top 3 will be summoned to the podium. Meanwhile, we're going racing again with Future Classics. Had a little bit of trouble with barrier times earlier. Let's see if they can work that one out this time. Certainly David Hammond did it all to perfection. And it's he who will start from pole position as a result in their second race from Paul Flanagan. Future Classics heading away. David Hammond will start this one from pole with Paul Flanagan in the Clio 172 alongside. Then Donal Cullity in the Repsol Honda, beautifully turned out car. Robert Doherty in the Civic. And then it's Tom Woolard and Ian Thornton. That's the Super Future Classics. In the Future Classics class, Graham Carroll will start from pole from Pat O'Malley in the Mini, Luke Marmion, Con Quinlan, James Marmion, Aaron Lannan, Paul Walsh, Miles Redmond, Philip Lawless and Gilbert Clancy. That's the Precision Tint and Graphics Future Classics class out on track now. getting the tyres warmed up as they head round 2-kilometre national circuit. Just a quick shout out for the ST drivers to head to their podium. They'll get their prize giving from race 1 and race 2 together at the podium for the Coffee to Go Fiesta STs. We've moved on to the Future Classics Championship, the Precision Tint and Graphics Future Classics. If you haven't seen Future Classics before and you're watching on the live stream, there's a barrier time for both of these classes. So the faster cars up front, 107.00, and the slightly slower Future Classics cars at the back, 109.00. If you go quicker than that barrier time, you get a 10-second penalty. You do it twice, you get another 10-second penalty. So there were a lot of penalties applied, both in the first round here at Mondello Park and the second round. And I'm not involved in the running of the class, but I do think they possibly need to look at that. The track was surfaced here last year, and it's a lot quicker. It was surfaced from turn 2 all the way down to turn 3 and all the way through the S's until the exit of the S's. And I think that might have affected it just a little bit, because the barrier not just being broken but absolutely smashed this morning by well over a second by 2 of the cars in the main class. That's Ian Thornton and Robert Doherty, so watch out for them. Doherty on the second row in the black Honda on the outside, potentially the quickest car on the grid. Tom Woolard in the little Mazda MX-5. Tom's an instructor here at Mondello Park with us. Very busy down here at the moment with corporates. If you want to have a corporate outing, if you want to have a launch, conference, anything like that, get in touch with us here at Mondello Park. Full corporate facilities and conferencing facilities here. Alternatively, if you want to drive a car around the track, have a look at mondellopark.ie. We've got a full fleet of Porsches, Ferraris. We've just got new rally cars in for the rally experience. Fully prepared Suzuki Swifts. Got single seaters and much more here at Mondello. Should be getting ready to go. There's the 5-second board out. Watch for the lights at the top of the screen. Green lights on, red lights on, I should say, out, and away we go. Flanagan with the 172 gets the jump, but watch Robert Doherty on the outside. Here we are, the Honda just so much quicker than everything else. Drives by everybody, including the Clio, as indeed does Thornton in the big Celica. Thornton manhandles the Celica around the outside, but the little Clio was very nimble. But now he gets around. That's a good job by Thornton to get up to second place. Doesn't want to let that Civic get away out front. And it's Doherty with the hammer well and truly down. Of course, on cold tyres, the early laps from a standing start, you're not going to break the barrier time. So you see them trying really hard on cold tyres early on. And then they need to balance it a little bit after that. So Hammond, Flanagan, Cullity, Doherty was how they headed away. Doherty was already ahead by the time they got to the grandstand, and this time he's got Thornton tucked right in behind him in the Celica. David, oh, Celica slowing. Celica slowing on the exit of the S is obviously a problem. Luke Marmion up the inside of O'Malley, that is. Indeed it is in the Mini, yeah. Leading a bit quicker straight line. Here comes Phil Lawless as well. All the way from the back in the Puma engined Fiesta. Cullity heading for the pit lane. Gilbert Clancy heading for the pit lane. We lost 2 or 3 cars already in the opening lap here. Thornton didn't head for the pit lane, but he's fallen all the way to the back. Hammond in the little Uno. Flanagan just up ahead of him. So Doherty all out in front now. Remember, Doherty was controlling it nicely. Wasn't breaking the barrier time the last time until Thornton caught him, and then all of a sudden went well over a second. They both did well over a second quicker than the barrier time. Thornton looks like he's back up to speed as he powers by Graham Carroll there on the way down into the S's. Locks a wheel on the way in. First flying lap now. 8.4. 3 seconds slower than he went in race 1. So Doherty being mindful here of what he has to do. Flanagan second. 7.4. Getting closer as well. David Hammond with a 7-2. It's really close to the barrier. It's 0.2 off. It's exactly where you need to be. And then Woolard, Super Future, Luke Marmion leading the Future Classics. Although he's broken the barrier time. It's not showing up just yet, but a 108.871. That's under 109. So that puts Lawless up to, there it's gone, it's just come through now on the screen, I think. Thornton as well, 106.162. He's broken the barrier time. So yeah, it's just taking a minute to process them. There's Luke Marmion's penalty has come in now. He's back down to 9th place. That puts Phil Lawless into the lead. Doherty is still in the 68s. Flanagan the 67s. Hammond in the 67s. They're both closing him down now. Doherty on an 8-4 last time around. 8 dead for Flanagan. 7-6 for Hammond. Coming out towards again, Doherty centre of the road, not taking a full racing line there on the way in. Flanagan the same, but Flanagan half covering, and one eye on the idea of an attack from David Hammond in the Flying Uno in third. Come out onto the main straight now again. 7-5 for Doherty that time. It's 7/10 quicker than he's been going. Again, centre of the road for Doherty down into turn 1. Slows it right down, in fact backs them all up. If anything, and Hammond swerving around behind looking for a space to come through. Thornton gets another penalty there. Thornton now doing a 106.025. It's full second under the barrier time. Even though he's catching the leaders on the road, he's back down in 11th place over. Here he comes, the big Celica. Gets it turned in and up the hill. That's Tom Woolard in the MX-5. And Luke Marmion. Oh, Celica bouncing around in the background. Doherty just covering the inside there, but I don't think Flanagan was close enough to have a go. They're coming onto the main straight. (8-1, 8-3, 5-3 for Ian Thornton. Heading for 2 seconds under the barrier time now for Thornton in the Celica. This will be a problem for Doherty if Thornton can get by the Uno and the Clio, which I suspect he will. The last race when he got near Robert Doherty, Doherty broke the barrier time by a significant margin, so let's have a look. Little Uno is very quick through the first bit of turn 3. Celica having a look down the inside. Straight line should be much better, but he gets a good run up out of turn 3. Gets alongside, but will he get the door shut? I think he will. That's him up to 3rd place on the road. 11th on the timing screen. Just the Clio to deal with now. Doherty, of course, will see all this in his mirrors. He's already beginning to drop the hammer, I think. So this will be interesting when they cross the line. Thornton high and wide. Flanagan covering the inside on the way out, but here comes the big Celica. Side by side. Doherty back down into the 7s. 7-8 for Flanagan. Gets by and up into 2nd place. 6-6, so breaks the barrier time again on that lap. Thornton. Sure he'll do it again. This time around he's trying to catch that Honda Civic. So the 2 Japanese cars up front now. He's already caught up to Doherty there. How's it going? But backs out of it. On the way up from turn 3. Nice tidy line for Thornton, in tight through the left-hander there. And through the second bit of the S's, and again the Celica just hauling in the Honda as they head up towards the braking zone. Doherty once again the outside line. Celica gets alongside as they come out. Drag race to the flag now. Celica versus Honda Civic. .75 for Rob Doherty, so loses the lead but manages not to break the barrier time. Flanagan second on the road, second on the results too. It's Doherty, Flanagan according to our timing screen now, Hammond, Woolard and Thornton in 5th, despite the fact that he's had 6th, I should say. Well, he's beginning to drop down. He's just broken the barrier time again, 6.4. So that's five times maybe, 4 or 5 times. So he's leading the race alone. He's absolutely smashed the barrier time on a number of occasions. So he's not going to feature in this one, even though he's disappeared up the road. So effectively, this is the lead battle. It's Doherty, Flanagan, and Hammond. Catching one of the Zetecs. Miles Redman having a little bit of fun in the Fiesta Zetec, which are also eligible for this class. Down the inside. Doherty being held up there, having to hit the brakes. Allowing Flanagan a little bit closer. Doherty, Flanagan, Hammond. Woolard and O'Malley leading the futures now in the Mini. Still to go now. Doherty broken away a little bit from the two behind. Still the centre of the road for Doherty. Not sure why when they're not close enough to have a go up the inside, but doesn't go near the exit curb either. Maybe that's how he's managing to balance at times, so he's doing that to perfection. Thornton breaks it again, a 5-3. Oh, 7-9 for Doherty, actually, my mistake on that occasion, so he has backed off. 7-3 for him, 8 dead for Doherty, 8-5 for Flanagan, 8-5 for Hammond. Tom Woolard 9-4. Pat O'Malley still leading the futures in the little mini, the junior challenge mini, 10-1. Minutes 45 to go. That's our leader. Flanagan now closing in a little bit on Doherty. Thornton heading away up the road, but damage done there. He's 7 times, I think, broken. He's showing him 1 minute and 8 behind the leaders. That would make it look like he's had 7 penalties, 10 seconds each. Corner, 2.5 minutes to go. Barrier broken again for Thornton. 6.797 that time. His fastest lap at 105.334. Traffic coming up now. As Doherty encounters the Salik at the S's. No problem. Salik is heading for the pits. They all gone by him. No, he's not, but they're all got by him there on the way up to the final corner. 1 minute 28 to go. Gets a turn in. 19 seconds to go. So starting the final lap now. Hasn't been much action in this one, unfortunately. Gets by Aaron Manan. Running 5th in the slower future class in the Mark 1 Punto 1400. Cars rejoining there, out of shot, Gilbert Clancy and Donald Cullity. Perhaps hoping to get a couple of points. They can get to the checkered flag. There's Doherty centre of the road as ever, and it gets turned in. So Doherty takes it from Paul Flanagan and David Hammond. Tom Wooler goes through. He's 4th in Super Futures. Marmion comes through, but he's got a penalty. So Pat O'Malley in the little mini is going to take 5th place overall and top Future Classic. Good run in the mini. That's a car that won't break the barrier time of 109 because I think the lap record in those in juniors is a 9.2, 9.1. I think it was Travers from last year. So good effort from Pat O'Malley. He takes the Future Classics element of it and 5th overall. Luke Marmion next up, and then Graham Carroll. Colin Quinlan going through there in the Focus. He's 4th in Future. So Ian Thornton first on the road, but way back after a load of penalties there in Future Classics. So it's Doherty, Flanagan and Hammond's the order in that one. And then in Futures, O'Malley, Marmion and Carroll. So Zetec safety, Fiesta Zetec next up. They gave us a lot of entertainment earlier, but there were a lot of safety cars and red flags. A few cars off, not massive damage, but certainly hard to recover. And they didn't get much racing time as a result. I don't actually have a grid for this one, but I'll run through them when they come out of assembly and down the pit lane and then out onto the grid. They'll do a green flag lap, they'll line up and then they start. Full grid of these cars. Great to see it. The little budget tin tops. So here we go. Live on board again. That's Dave McGuire, winner of race 1. See it live, boys. Have taken the camera out of Michael Cullen's car and put it into his teammate. So always great when we reverse the top 6. This gives us extra entertainment. So out onto the pit lane now. So it's going to be Rod McGovern who'll take pole position now. I spoke to Roz yesterday and he said that if he wasn't on the ultimate pace, because he wanted more testing to try and get the car moving around a bit more, he was going to aim for 6th in race 1 to try and get pole for race 2. That's what he's done. Massively experienced. Former Seat Super Cup champion, former Dunlop Supercar champion. Got a little sign, you can just about see it there, remembering Mick Merrigan on the front of the bonnet of that car. Sean McGovern normally drives this car. He's doing exams, so Daddy says, stand back, son. I'll step in and show you how it's done. Let's see how that works out. He's starting this one on pole position. Great friends with Michael Cullen, so he wants some slagging rights. James Byrne, very impressive driver. Keith Dawson, always very quick. There's Michael Barable, Alan Dawson. There's our camera car, the JMC car. There's Fishburne, was in the wars earlier. Nick Sjow, Kelsey Kirby, Eduardo Gonzaga, Gareth Burke, James Byrne, Caleb Shamley. Donahue, Emma Dempsey going through there. Cole McLaughlin, somebody in trouble there. It's an issue with a car down the pit lane. Seems to be sorted. I think that car was just out 24. There, that car there was just out in Future Classics. So I don't know whether they're changing a transponder or changing something very quickly in the pit lane there. As the rest of the big stream back out. Laura Hannon and the Digital Motorsports car. Stephen Cullinan there. Another one of the Carnage Racing cars. Mick Keogh there weaving around, getting a bit of heat into the cars. Eduardo Gonzaga has retrieved this front bumper from the scenery from race 1 and refitted it. Good work by his team. Auto exhaust car, that's Mark O'Donoghue, very quick driver. Haven't seen much of him this year, but very, very quick. Watch out for him. Josh Brown there in the white car with the yellow, with the bright green stripe. Another rookie, went very, very well in race 1. First time out. Jason O'Connell back a little bit, didn't have a great race 1, but he's been the quickest rookie so far this year. So Rod McGovern on pole position for this one. Morgan Dempsey run car. James Byrne, very, very quick driver. James Byrne came into the class last year as a rookie, won the Look Rookie Championship, and has been right up the front this year, going very well in the championship. This is a car with Sonic 66 on it, the Dent Magic car on the outside of the front row. And Keith Dawson, experience in many, many different classes. Michael Barrable, top rally driver for many years, Formula Ford 1600 driver in the 70s and 80s, very, very quick as well. Doing it for a bit of fun these days. Former Dunlop Sexton overall champion, Fiat Uno Cup winner, raced in Irish touring cars, raced in everything. There's Neil Murphy. Zetec's man heading up to get a quick photo of this grid. It's an impressive sight. Just look fantastic there as they line up these budget tin tops. There's Owen Murphy in the patch tire equipment car getting into place at the back. He was last in the first race on the grid. He's obviously made up quite a few places. He's up 3-4 rows there. It's still a lot of work for him to do. He mistook the green flag lap for the race earlier on and was making up places like there was no tomorrow, so he's never going to live that down. Brian Matthews, patch tire equipment, has got his money's worth from that alone. So poor old Murphy will never hear the end of that one. So the Mick Merrigan bonnet on the front of that car on pole position. As Rod said to me yesterday, I wish he was here. He'd be telling me what tire pressures to run and what to do. I'm sure he's with him in spirit. The Mick Merrigan car on pole position. And away they go. Rod nails a perfect start. Barrable gets a good one too and tries to pull across in front of Keith Dawson as they head down towards turn one. But it's Rod McGovern with an absolute cracker of a start. James Byrne having to defend because Barrable having a look there. And Maguire down the outside of everybody, Cullen style, and right round the outside of the JMC car. Good start for young Dave Maguire. They're all clear now. And Murphy well up there in the patch car. He's made up some more places, I think. Look at Barrable, he's got a long side there, and we're on board. Great view from Maguire, but somebody's on our right hand side and coming up the inside. It looks like Keith Dawson, and he's being helped by Alan Dawson. They're bumper to bumper. Dawson pushing Keith Dawson there on the way down, and that's going to box out. And again, damage, and Dawson. Well, I'm not sure what happened there, but that was Alan Dawson into Dave Maguire, and that allows Mick Keogh through. So, yeah, we'd have to have a look at that one from outside, perhaps. But Rob McGovern getting a bit of help too, I think, from James Byrne as they come through the left-hander. Keith Dawson a little bit wide, Alan Dawson right with him. Then it's Mick Keogh. Then it looks like Fishburne has got up the inside now of Dave Maguire. Not a great first lap for Dave Maguire. McGovern down the inside. Oh, James Byrne all over the place. He's firing the car around and pushing the leader around the final corner. And Barrable right with them, 1, 2, 3 now. Dawson opting to stay on the outside, take a slightly more sensible line. Maguire gets a good run and gets alongside Mick Keogh on the main straight, but he's on the outside. Elsie Kirby going nicely there as well. Here comes Barrable on the brakes, and Byrne is very late in the brakes. He's down the inside into McGovern, drives him wide, and allows Barrable through and allows Keith Dawson through as well. So McGovern couldn't turn in there. It was a relatively legitimate manoeuvre initially, but maybe came in a bit too hot and drove the leader wide a little bit. And Barrable has done it all together through Campion Corner and has taken the lead from Byrne. And Keith Dawson looking down the inside of James Byrne now. A little bit of contact there again. Somebody on the outside. Is that Rob McGovern trying to go around the outside? It is trying to go around the outside of Alan Dawson, who gives him no room. And he goes grass cutting on the exit there of turn 3. So Barrable it is now coming down into the S's from James Byrne. It's Andy Kavanagh and Owen Murphy door to door down into the S's. This is a great shot now on board with Dave Maguire. Gets a run at Mick Keogh. Mick sees it coming and goes to the inside. A dive down the inside from Maguire. Cracking move to get by Mick Keogh. And he's up in place. Just a little kiss of the wing mirrors. The door mirrors, I should say, but that gets him up in place. Maguire on a recovery drive. Fishburne has got through as well, though, and has got up the inside of Maguire now. Maguire tries to close the door, but Fishburne's already there. So Michael Barrable out front, as we've said so many times in this class, but he's done it to perfection. James Byrne loves getting the car into shape on the brakes. Something he really does like the back of it to move around there. Keith Dawson again with Alan Dawson right behind him. Let's see how Owen Murphy is doing. He's up more places. He's in 19th. 34 places on the grid, remember. It's James Byrne, Keith Dawson, Alan Dawson, Rod McGovern, Fishburne and Maguire all in shot. Mick Keogh coming into shot as well, and Gonzaga going nicely The Brazilian driver, Eduardo Gonzaga, great stuff from him out the outside curve. Didn't have a good run in race 1, but he's going nicely here. James Byrne, I think it is next up then behind him. Maguire now right on the back bumper of the Fish Graphics car of Ian Fishburne. Fishburne in the wars, as we saw in race 1. Trying to get by McGovern. Easier said than done. Keith Dawson with a big lunge up the inside, locking the back brakes there. Alan Dawson looking for a run around the outside of Keith as they come out onto the main straight. Maguire up the inside, Fishburne just closing the door on him there on the main straight. Front race for Maguire so far, Barrable at 1.3 seconds ahead, and again the back brakes moving the car around on James Byrne. He's up over the curb, he's on the inside kicking up dust. Alan Dawson looks like he might have got round the outside of Keith Dawson there. Third gear for us now as we're following this battle. Fishburne in front. Maguire really looking to make up places here. He won the opening race, remember. Byrne, Dawson we're looking at here. James Byrne really does always have the car dancing around under him. 11.9, fastest lap for Michael Barrable as he begins to pull away. Great battles all the way down the grid here. So Barrable it is, James Byrne and the two Dawsons. Barrable looking to open his account with a win here. Oh, Fishburne defensive in the background. Maguire takes a stab down the inside. Fishburne has it covered. That allows Mick Keogh up to both of them. Maguire's up the inside again though. Fishburne just squeezes the door shut. It's fraught stuff in the mid-grid here. It's Fishburne, Maguire, Keogh. We're having a look down the outside. It's a risky manoeuvre in this race because if you in this type of racing, if you don't get around the outside, you're leaving yourself susceptible to a challenge from behind. Mick Keogh, Gonzaga, Richie Byrne behind him. Right out to the outside again, looking for that gap down the inside. He's not going to find one there. Barrable now 1.2 seconds up the road. Good stuff from the Fiestas now. Battles all the way down the grid. Gonzaga, Byrne, Kelsey Kirby going nicely there again. Good run in race 1 for her. Down into the S's, Byrne cocking an inside front wheel. Byrne was actually quicker than Barrable last time round, as was Alan Dawson. So if they stay apart, they may be able to close them down. It's not going to happen though, is it? Byrne has to defend again as Dawson takes a stab at him there on the way up to the final corner. Oh, it looks like Maguire's got down the inside of Fishburne that time. Gets down the inside of turn 1. Through turn 2 together. Oh, contact there as they kiss mirrors, but Maguire should have the inside here if he just keeps it pinned. He has the inside line for turn 3. It'll be interesting to see how much pace he's got now that he's got by. Oh, Fishburne has a go down the inside again. Maguire gets that covered. Rob McGovern off on the outside ahead of them. Barrable, I think, dropping back. Is he a little bit? He is again. Another couple of tenths last time around. James Byrne quicker than Barrable. Gap down to 1.085 seconds. We're not even at half distance yet. 8 minutes still to go in the Zetec safety. Ford Fiesta Zetec race 2. There's Maguire having got to the head of that group. But Barrable's been caught. He's practically caught now as they come round the final corner. Michael Barrable, who thought he was away down the road, but obviously not. James Byrne has caught him, and he's brought the two Dawsons with him. Barrable a little bit down in a straight line, 113.5, 115.1 for, that's the fastest we've seen through the speed trap. James Byrne, 115.1. Somebody else, Andy Kavanagh, very quick through the speed trap as well, way quicker than all those cars around him. Midfield there. 114. Barrable's just got away a little bit there again. Barrable out to the 12s, 12.2 last time around, 11.6 for James Byrne, fastest lap of the race. 11.8 for Alan Dawson, 11.8 for Keith Dawson. Then now to the 12s for Maguire. This could be a quicker lap for Maguire. He's got away from Fishburne now. He's closing down Rob McGovern. Rob McGovern out to the 12.7 last time around. Let's see what Dave Maguire can do with a clear road in front. Barable just keeping it clean, trying to get those lap times in. Doesn't have to defend just yet. Out onto the main straight again. Barable, Byrne, Dawson. Byrne keeping one eye on the mirrors there, moving to the inside to make sure Dawson doesn't get down the inside. Maguire straight down into the 11s, 11.901. That's a quick lap time for Maguire, just slashed the time. There he is, caught up with Rob McGovern already. Catching Rod is one thing, I think getting by will be another. Barable's got back down, got his rhythm back into the 11s last time round. Here we're on board with Maguire. Down into the S's. Gets the LOH Motorsport car turned in. Staying hard on the power there. Looking for a gap. And Richie Byrne going very defensive. And Barable will be thankful for that, I think. Alan Dawson trying to get by. Dawson up the outside trying to get a switch back to the inside. But Byrne has that covered. Byrne really has racecraft beyond his years. And I don't mean his age. I mean the amount of years he's been racing. He's arrived last year as a rookie. Blitzed the rookie cup. And right up the front ever since. And he really has an answer to all the moves that Alan Dawson is trying to put on him here. Maguire gets alongside Rob McGovern for turn 2. Rod leaving him out there. No track being given there. Looking to the outside now. But McGovern has everything covered that's going on there. The order: Barable, Byrne, Alan Dawson, Keith Dawson, Rob McGovern, Dave Maguire, Ian Fishburne, Eduardo Gonzaga up to 8th place, Keogh in 9th, Richie Byrne, Andy Kavanagh and Garrett Burke. It's coming back down towards us. Barable 12-1 last time around, the rest out to 12-8 because they're battling. But this is good stuff, this battle for second place. James Byrne just not going to hand it away. He's very much in the hunt for the championship here. Knows exactly what he has to do. He took a win at the first round, as indeed did Alan Dawson. So it's important for him just to keep Alan Dawson behind. A little bit of contact there as they come out of the final corner. Hangs on to it though. Thought that might give Keith Dawson the run, but it obviously didn't slow them down that much. Oh, and Rob McGovern just slamming the door shut there on Dave Maguire. Maguire got the nose up the inside, but Rod just not having any of it at all. Dave Maguire wondering what he has to do here. He's trying around the outside now. Back to the right. He's getting a little bit frustrated with this, I think. Rod got into uber defensive mode. Rob very friendly with Dave Maguire Sr., so bragging rights on Monday, of course, for somebody here. Barable still going nicely, 12 dead last time round, quicker than anybody behind. Quicker than anybody on track, in fact. In terms of rookies, it's Andrew McCormick from Lorcan McGivney, from Jason O'Connell in 3rd place. So here they come. Through turn 2, the second bit of the S's, that's absolutely flat out. Byrne immediately goes to the inside. The problem with that is it's hard on your front tyres. If you even swerving coming out of the S's, and going down the inside to block is hard on your front tyres. That makes them worse. It gives them left grip, and there's a little bit of contact again as Dawson tries to get up the inside and Byrne closes the door. That gives Keith Dawson the run. And once again, Dave Maguire trying to get up the inside, but Rob McGovern says no, no, no. Holding the inside line there. Times have gone way back out into the mid-13s for both of them now. Be frustrating for Maguire. He's got around the outside perhaps, has he? Oh, no, he hasn't. Here's Rod again. Elbows out. So I thought when I saw a clear road ahead, I could actually see in his mirror with somebody else right with him. I think that's Fishburne. Gets the run again at Rob, but Rob's just not going to give him any road. He hugs the road on the inside. So Barable, Byrne, Alan Dawson, Keith Dawson, Rod McGovern, Dave Maguire, Ian Fishburne, Gonzaga, Keogh and Andy Kavanagh. A great charge all the way from the back. He's now inside the top 10. Oh, this time Alan Dawson trying around the outside of the S's. He might be able to make this one stick. Oh, he's completely off the track there. A little bit of rodeo jumping. Oh, and right out in front of Keith Dawson when he rejoins there. So Dawson right up over the inside curve. That's allowed Byrne to get away a little bit. Could have been the two Dawsons meeting each other on the way out of the S's there, but it was avoided. But that certainly didn't work. Dave Maguire trying to get up the inside of Rod McGovern again. McGovern closing the door, but surely Maguire's fired enough up to the inside. Just said no, not quite. Rod just gets it closed again. A big queue behind Rod McGovern. He's a little bit like a mobile chicane in this one, but he's allowed to do that down the inside everywhere. And Maguire hadn't quite got the undercut on him on the way back out of that corner. This time Maguire tries up the inside again, and he gets the nose ahead on the way to turn 2, but Rod will just leave him out there. There it is again. No room at all. Oh dear, right out to the outside for Rod McGovern. And Dave Maguire really throwing everything but the kitchen sink at this, trying to get by Rod McGovern, and they're all beginning to back up behind them. Oh, and again, damage there. As they came together fairly heavily that time around. He's got by. Dave Maguire's got by at turn 3. Rod McGovern's defences have been penetrated in the background here. There we go. Here they come. McGovern gets straight to the inside so nobody else gets by. But Dave Maguire's a little bit wide. McGovern comes back. Oh, heavy impact there into him. Across the inside. A little bit rough, I think, there into Dave Maguire. Fishburne around the outside of him there. So it's getting a little bit hectic in that group. Andy Kavanagh drifts off the track in the background. And Maguire's car beginning to look a little bit battered. Gonzaga wants a piece of the action now and gets up the inside of Ian Fishburne. They come out onto the main straight. Doesn't have the straight line power. Gonzaga has to pull in behind Fishburne there. Fastest lap James Byrne still. Barrable 2.8 seconds up the road at the front of this one. Just when Dave Maguire thought he had it done, he's back where he started behind Rod McGovern. Right out over the curbs and kicking up a little bit of dust on the exit there. And McGovern, Maguire and all the rest come streaming through. Got a car stopped on the main straight there, 128. That's Jordan Flanagan, the newbie. Car stopped on the main straight. Could give us a safety car. No, we're down to 0. It's checkered flag time. It's going to be Michael Barrable. It is Michael Barrable who takes a fine win. James Byrne, great drive to second. Dawson third. Keith Dawson fourth. Then it's the mobile chicane. It's Rod McGovern. It's Dave Maguire. It's Fishburne. Side by side, Keogh and Gonzaga. Then all the way from the back is Andy Kavanagh. And it looks like Richie Byrne. And it's Kelsey Kirby, Garrett Burke, Emma Dempsey right in there too. Emma Dempsey and Kelsey Kirby side by side a lot of the way around the last lap, but Garrett Burke seems to have split them there somewhere around the last lap, so great stuff. There's Laura Hannon coming through with a bodywork a little bit dislocated. Stephen Cullinan there, Keith Lenihan, and Owen Murphy in the patch car too. That's pretty much it. Christian Brennan comes through. That car needs a little bit of mechanical work, I'm told. He only bought that car during the week, so he's going to get the cylinder head done, and that'll move him forward quite a lot. Nicely turned out car, the XMSL car of Christian Brennan. And Hannah Laura Seltzy getting quicker every time she goes out. So there's the official result. Michael Barrable takes the win. James Byrne, the Minister for Defence, James Byrne, great drive. Alan Dawson in third place. Keith Dawson fourth. Rod McGovern fifth. The battered Dave Maguire in sixth. Then Ian Fishburne. Eduardo Gonzaga will be happy with eighth place. Mick Keogh ninth. And Andy Kavanagh all the way from the back in 10th place. So some great racing there in Fiesta Zetec's race 2. Zetec safety class. So there's the car that stopped. Not a great first day out for Jordan Flanagan. He's done loads of work on that car. It's well turned out, and it's a shame he didn't get going in race 1, and the car seems to have just stopped on him in race 2. So a little bit of work to be done on that one ahead of the next race meeting here in July. So the Fiesta Zetec will be heading towards their podium now. They're going to have a double podium with Neil Murphy from Zetec Safety. We will be going racing once again with the Dunshaughlin Motor Company Formula Boss Ireland. They'll be back out. Barry Rabbit taking the win in race 1 under huge pressure for the whole race. He'll have to do it all again. For race 2, let's see how that pans out in just a few minutes' time. It's getting ready to go. It's Greenan and Rabbit on the front row for Formula Boss Ireland. Then Roach, Daly, Shane Rabbit, Faherty, Rob King, Connolly and all the rest. Getting ready to go. Let's hope they all get away cleanly. Red lights are on. They're out and away they go. And again, a lot of wheel spin from the pole man, but can he contain Barry Rabbit? This will be crucial down into turn one. He can't. Oh, and a big lock up there from Roach, who displaces Rabbit on the brakes into turn one. So Roach in second place should give us some excitement. Barry Rabbit will surely fight back here. Green and a danger man to let away. We know he's got great pace. Shane Rabbit down the inside of Dan Daly there to take that place. It's Kaylee Cole starting from the pit lane, I think, or just out of one of the garages perhaps. Not sure what the issue was there. Let's hope that's okay. Here they come the top three out of the S's already. It's Greenan, it's Roach and it's Rabbit. Greenan, you can see by the nod of his head as he changes gear there, really pushing hard. Roach on a big charge there. That was an absolute lunge on Barry Rabbit down into turn one. Shane Rabbit going nicely there in fourth place. Connolly down the inside of Dan Daly there as well. Oh, and around he goes. Oh, and Dan Daly did well to avoid him there. Connolly just getting on the power as the having come down the inside. Hopefully he can get this car going again. Fingers crossed. Oh, he has done. Well done. Possibly stalled it again, but maybe he can get it going. It's in a precarious position now. Yeah, he's got it going, lights the back of it up this time, no mistakes, and away he goes. Oh, it leaves black marks on the road as he gets up and running. Michael Connolly, great battles there down the grid. That's Wilston, Graham, Roland Doherty, with his car back out after not finishing race one. There's the leader. Oh, I did say Barry Rabbit would fight back. Look at Rabbit now firing the little F3 car around. It's Green and Roach Rabbit. There's a good lap from Barry Rabbit, 51.991. 52.850 for Michael Roach. Shane Rabbit 53.4. Down the outside into the S's. Should be able to sit around the outside here, possibly. But not quite. Roach closes the door. Rabbit, mindful of his front wing, has to back out of that one. Again, Roach to the inside, but certainly now is rattled by Barry Rabbit. Rabbit trying to get up the inside on the exit, a classic Mondello maneuver, but Roach knows all about it and contains that one. You have two choices when that happens. So you can keep the lock on and try and stay to the inside to block them, or you can take the lock off if you're confident and run around the outside. That's what he did there, but Rabbit very much on a charge here, gets alongside again on the brakes. Gets kicked aside though by Michael Roach that time. And Shane Rabbit going, hang on there Barry, I'll come up and help you. But he's not too far away, is he? The little Renault. Rabbit alongside again, piling the pressure on, and right around the outside says Barry Rabbit, have some of that. He's up to second place. That's good stuff from him. Committed, typical Barry Rabbit stuff right around the outside. I think he thought enough was enough when they gave the little kiss of tyres coming out of turn one, and Rabbit just sat around the outside of turn three and kept the foot in it. That's not the first time he's done that at Mondello Park. So Screen and Rabbit, Roach, Shane Rabbit, Dan Daly, Rob King, Daniel Faherty, Wilston, Graham, Doherty, Connolly and Kaylee Cole, the order. Interesting to see what lap time Barry Rabbit can do now. We saw him in defensive mode in race one, so we didn't really see how quick he could go. There's Dan Daly, beautiful looking car. And Rob King going really nicely in the Digital Motorsports machine. He's holding off a proper F3 car, isn't he? It's holding off Daniel Fardy, Alex Wilson and Gary Graham. Kaylee Cole about to be lapped. She was a late starter, of course. Car's very quick in a straight line, that little Formula 1000. And the leader having to wait until the braking zone to get by. Just out brakes her there on the way down into turn 1. Easing away now. Does Greenan all on his own. There's Barry Rabbit. Rabbit last time round 51.696, which is faster than the leader by by a tenth. 51.696, 51.797 for the leader. Greenan has gone quicker early on in the race. Certainly Rabbit now matching him, but the gap at 8.7 seconds, so he's not going to be able to close that one down. Looking at the straight line speed there, Greenham 181.2, Rabbit 175.3, but Kaylee Cole 175.3. So that little Formula 1000 incredibly quick in a straight line. Obviously wouldn't have the chassis of the F3 car, the downforce, but it's very, very quick in a straight line and matching Barry Rabbit's pace down the main straight. Rabbit now closing her down to put a lap on her, I think. Stick them out of the S's. There's a good battle. That's Roland Doherty in there. Gary Graham, Rob King. Wilson's got ahead of Rob King. Wilson going nicely in the little radical. There goes Barry Rabbit in the pallet storage.ie car. 51.8 for him last time round, 51.8 for the leader, 53.6 for Michael Roach, 53.2 for Shane Rabbit. So Shane Rabbit closing in a little bit on Roach for third place. Here's the leader. 7 minutes 33 to go in this one. There's Wilson going nicely after an absolute disaster of a first race. Great to see him going so well. That's Alex Wilson. Roland Doherty trying to line up Gary Graham now. Here comes Greenan. Big gap, 9.5 seconds now. 7/10 quicker than Rabbit last time round. Doing a good job here. Bit of traffic coming up with 6 minutes to go. But he's got plenty of time to negotiate that. Rabbit just coming around the S's now in the background. Here comes our leader, Greenan. The F3 car really going nicely. .51.9 that time round again. There's Barry Rabbit at the top of the screen. If you have a look at the classes there, Boss 2 is the slightly smaller cars. That's Greenan leading that and leading overall from Barry Rabbit and Michael Roach. Boss 1 is Dan Daly and Michael Connolly, who's in the pits. And Boss 3 is Alex Wilson leading that one from Rob King, and just 3 cars on that, Kaylee Cole. Kaylee Cole going nicely now. She's dipped into the 54s. So 55, I think, was her previous best the last time out, but the Cork Carter, 54.960 for her that time round. Shane Rabbit still trying to close down Michael Roach. Quicker again by a few tenths last time round. There's our leader. 5 minutes and 5 seconds to go on this one. Green and Rabbit, Roach, Shane Rabbit, Dan Daly, Daniel Faherty, Rob King, Gary Graham, Alex Wills, then Roland Doherty and Kaylee Cole. The order in this one, just 11 cars still running. Barry Rabbit closing up on a little bit of traffic now as they come up out of turn 3. Cars have already been dispatched by the leader. Whoa, Rabbit there being very decisive, and Roland Doherty having to compromise his line slightly at the second bit of the S's, and Rabbit's got some damage there. Is that a side pod or an engine cover? The engine cover has come off on one side and is sticking up in the air. Should be okay. Gary Graham and Rob King side by side there. Graham a little bit quicker than King in a straight line. King's trying to hold him off. Rob King's got ahead of Alex Wilson. Now he's dropped down a couple of places. But a very slow lap by his standards. He's done a minute. He's done a 55 earlier in the race. He's done a minute that time round. Has dropped back. With 3 minutes to go. Rabbit having to weave around a bit behind Gary Graham. Graham's car pretty quick in a straight line there, wasn't it? Rabbit had to do that on the brakes into the S's. The F3 car's got so much grip here. So is the Radical. The Rob King very quick through the S's, and Rabbit gets a run on him, big slice down the inside, and gets that job done. Rob King going nicely. Now leading that Boss 3 class. Not slow in a straight line. The Radical every bit as quick as the F3 car by the look of it. Rabbit's car down on power actually, maybe, because Rabbit last time through 155.1 through the speed trap as opposed to 171 for Shane Rabbit and 185 for the leader. So Barry Rabbit's car, maybe that's hardly aerodynamic, is it? Certainly slow in a straight line as Rob King goes wide behind him in the Digital Motorsports Radical. Just a couple of minutes to go in this one. Domination for Tony Greenan. Rabbit, Roach, Shane Rabbit, Dan Daly, Daniel Faherty, Rob King, Gary Graham, Roland Doherty and Alex Wilson. The order, Kaylee Cole goes through there. So Greenan goes through. Dan Daly and Daniel Faherty having a great race there, with Daly trying to get on terms with him on the outside. Plenty of power in Dan Daly's car. It's not as nimble as the little F3 car, and the F3 car's later on the brakes just gets the job done, but Dan won't give up. You can see the back of the car moving around. Oh, Barry Rabbit's in from second place. Bodywork gone. Can he get back out? He can get back out. Black marks left on the pit lane there. Rabbit back out, high speed rejoin. Let's see where that puts him. I think it puts him down to fourth place. And only 28 seconds to go now. If he got a warning flag, I didn't see it, but certainly Barry Rabbit just cost himself 2 places there by doing that. We have another lap after this one, I think. Have we 15 seconds? Here comes the leader. Yep, going to let him run for another lap. 8 seconds to go as he goes by under the BMW bridge by the Beacon Hospital signage and down into turn 1. There's Barry Rabbit. He's got a lap to try and catch Shane Rabbit. Or has he? Where is he down? No, he's not showing on our... Okay. He's not showing on our pit board, but on our screen, but he is still going. And he's still in 4th place, and he's chasing down Shane Rabbit. But here's our leader. Checkered flag prepared below us. Fantastic win for Tony Greenan. Pole fastest lap and a strong, strong win from Tony Greenan. Waiting for Michael Roach for 2nd place, but he's well back. Oh yeah, here he comes, not these two. That's the battle with Dan Daly and Daniel Fardy. Fardy gets 4th place and Dan Daly 5th. But here comes Michael Roach for 2nd. Shane Rabbit sideways. He's going to get a podium. Shane Rabbit's 3rd. Barry Rabbit, I believe, is 4th. Must be maybe a transponder. I wonder, was the transponder on the bit of bodywork they removed? I doubt that. But Rabbit's showing, maybe I got that wrong. Maybe it cost him a lap. Okay, well, he's showing in 6th place there, Barry Rabbit. Then Gary Graham, Roland Doherty, Rob King, and Katie Cole. Tony Greenan takes that one from Michael Roach, Shane Rabbit, Daniel Fardy, Dan Daly, Barry Rabbit, Gary Graham, Roland Doherty, Rob King, and Kaylee Cole. Alex Wilson, I think, the only other finisher there. I'm not sure if he, I think he was still running at the end, yeah, but he dropped well back for some reason, which is a shame. Had been leading that class for most of it early on. So just one more race here at Mondello Park at the 2nd ICCR meeting, and they've given us great entertainment in their first 2 outings. I don't expect this to be any different. The Irish Legends are next up. Rolling Start, remember. Peter Barrable has won 2 of the races. Can he do 3 in a row like he did in Kirkstown? We'll find out in just a few minutes' time on the Beacon Hospital coverage of the Digital Motorsport ICCR here at Mondello Park.
Continental Tires, Irish Compact Car of the Year 2023. Speaks for itself. The new Opel Astra.
We're back live for the last race of the weekend at Mondello Park. 77, the rookie Willie Lawrence on pole position. Anthony Malone alongside him. Keith Rabbit, Lee Malone, Seamus Ryan, Richard Spence, Owen Lawler, Declan Burke, Scott Jackson, Derek Hogan, Danger, Peter Barrable, Jamie Moylan as well, and Kevin O'Donoghue. So row 6 is probably where the 2 danger men are. But watch out for the pole man, Willie Lawrence. Extremely quick early on. He's a rookie. Coming up on the screen as a rookie. And he was really, really impressive in the first race. Wasn't letting Peter Barrable by for the lead without a massive fight. His car's being repaired. Great to see. And away they go. Peter Barrable looking for a little bit of tarmac there. Jamie Moylan's car looking a bit smoky as they headed away. Perhaps I think that was his. Everybody looking to get a bit of space there. It is Willie Lawrence who leads this one away. Sideways stuff from somebody, number 11, Kevin O'Donoghue. Big armful of Absadok. The drifting is on the loop today, Kevin, but that was well held, it's got to be said. And he got that one way out of shape on the way out of turn 1, heading for Campion Corner for the first time. But Willie Lawrence leads now out of turn 3 and extends that lead on the brakes there down into turn 3. Gets it turned in super smooth on the way out, the car not moving too much under him. Peter Barrable in a lot of traffic with a lot of work to do. Coming up the hill there, somebody slowing and going backwards in the pack. I'm not sure why. Barrable has a look around the outside, but somebody off now on the outside. That's one of the Malone cars, I think, goes very, very wide. Manages to hang on to it though. Joins the track and sends Owen Lawler a little bit wide on the exit of the S's. But that's Keith Rabbit up to second place, so it's Willie Lawrence and Keith Rabbit now. Barrable and Moylan coming with him. So can Moylan give Barrable a run here? Already up to 4. Look at Keith Rabbit getting defensive. We know Keith Rabbit hasn't got the straight line pace. We saw that earlier. He's a few kilometres per hour down, isn't he, on the rest of them? 4 or 5 kilometres down. Jamie Moylan quickest going through there. No, Barrable 146.9, 141.5 for Keith Rabbit. So Rabbit with a job to do. Great battles. They're scrabbling away all the way back through the pack. comes Barrable with a committed move down the outside around Seamus Ryan. He's thinking of going around the outside of Keith Rabbit as well. No, just sits around the outside there. He'll have the inside line on the way back up the hill. Jamie Moylan looking to come with him though. They're all the way from the back, and here comes Moylan down the inside. Doesn't make it though. Loses one place. There's a car between him and Barrable for the first time. And Keith Rabbit. I think Keith will be worth watching in these cars if he gets the engine done. Certainly it's a little bit down on power as he goes right out over the curb. Always a spectacular driver. Goes defensive and doesn't let Barrable by. Moylan tries to get a run around the outside of Barrable. That's a smoky car. It's not slowing it down. Barrable now trying to get up the inside of Rabbit, and we know Rabbit's struggling for straight line speed. That should be enough. Peter Barrable knows that as well. And like a shark sensing blood, he's down the inside. But Rabbit goes late on the brakes and tries to go around the outside 22. Barrable got great traction off the corner. Will he get this second place from Keith Rabbit? He's going to have to work for it. I think he has got round the outside with sheer commitment, but Keith Rabbit was not for giving that one away. Moylan gets through as well, and once again is on the bumper now of Peter Barrable as they close in on the leader, Willie Lawrence. Impressive stuff from Lawrence, and indeed from Keith Rabbit, who's pretty much new to this class, although we expect fireworks when Keith Rabbit's out. We always see it. He's great to watch. Clue is in the surname there, really, isn't it? As he comes back down towards the S's in his Rapco car. Beautiful display for him at the back of the garages as well. Looks fantastic. And he's wrapped this Jonathan Files car as well. So a little bit of straight line power now, and he could cause some trouble. But Barrable's in front already. And Keith Rabbit having a go for second place down the inside. Is he? He is. No, that's not Keith Rabbit. It's Moylan. But Rabbit follows him through on the brakes. Rabbit and the rookie side by side now for third place, and Keith Rabbit losing out slightly as Willie Lawrence takes that place back. I thought Rabbit had that done, but Lawrence came back at him on the inside there, and Keith Rabbit has to slot in behind. Just missing a few brake horsepower, I'd imagine, today in Rabbit's car. Wouldn't be ideal weather for these legends. It's very, very warm at Mondello Park. We saw that with Rob Savage earlier. Oh, Barrable under pressure, and driving straight past him is Jamie Moylan. There's Barrable in trouble here. We know Jamie Moylan is really quick, but that was just literally blasted straight by on the way to turn 3. That car's very smoky of Jamie Moylan, isn't it? Very, very smoky now as it comes back towards us. Not just when he puts the power on, it's staying there. That isn't good. Moylan goes through. Barrable slots in behind him. 5 minutes to go. It's still the rookie in third. Sideways stuff as he holds everyone back. Keith Rabbit has a look up the inside, but Willie Lawrence says, I don't think so. Declan Burke down the outside, 46. Good stuff from him. He gets boxed out, though, a little bit. Switches back to the inside. Keith Rabbit needs to get over to that pick wall because he hasn't got the straight line speed. Big queue behind him now as Jamie Moylan leads. Barrable at 7-1 last time around, 6-2 his best. 5-8, though, for Moylan. Fastest lap. No, 5-7 for Declan Burke. Declan Burke 46 in the middle of the pack there, somehow managing to post a really quick lap as he gets alongside Keith Rabbit on the run out to turn 3. He's on the outside. There's no slicks on these cars. They move around a bit. Only Rabbit keeps the foot pinned and takes that place back. But Declan Burke looking very racy on the outside there. Derek Hogan right in the middle of it there. So 4 minutes 45 to go. Last race of the day here at Mondello Park for the Digital Motorsports ICCR. Keith Rabbit with a last minute lunge down the inside. I think that gets it done on Willie Lawrence. Can he get a quick run out though? I think he can. He should be able to hang on here. Let's watch the speeds as he goes by. 136, fast as we've seen. 128. 148.5 for somebody there. Seamus Ryan. 148.5. Rabbit 138.9. Barrable slow in a straight line now. 128.2 that time. So Peter Barrable could be in trouble here. I wonder, is Peter Barrable short shifting and saving his engine? Oh dear, that doesn't look healthy, does it, from Moylan's car? But he's not short shifting or saving his engine. He's on the limit here and going beautifully, and the gap out to 0.8 of a second. It's more now, but it's now leaving standing smoke on the track behind him at turn 3. So just 3.5 minutes to go. Hopefully it will last. And back in front now is Willie Lawrence in third place. Sideways stuff from Moylan. He really is firing the car around. Keith Rabbit trying to go high and wide. Might be susceptible here. No, he gets a good exit. It's crucial for him to get a good exit. And get nailed on the main straight. Here they come. Lawrence, it's Rabbit, Burke, Hogan in there too, and Lawler. Lee Malone, Richard Spence, and Anthony Malone. The Barrable going very slowly now. It's 7-2, 6-6 for Willie Lawrence. 6 dead for Jamie Moylan. The gap out to 2 seconds. Barrable in second place. Barrable's car smoking a little bit too. He's certainly trying very hard on the twisty bits. He's drifting the car at turn 3 there. 2 minutes 30 to go in this one. Moylan really is dogging the car. This is great to watch, isn't it? Opposite lock up over the curbs. Watch again. Drifts right out to the edge of the circuit. Fantastic stuff. Braking as late as he can. The car moving around under him. That smoke is worrying me a little bit. It's not worrying him. I'm sure he knows more about legends than me. As Keith Rabbit again fires it up the inside in the Rapco car and displaces Willie Lawrence. Willie Lawrence will be going, how many Rapco cars are on track? Well, just one. Keith Rabbit it is. Little cuddly toy strapped onto the window. That mightn't be helping his aerodynamics. Could be a straight line problem. It's Moylan, it's Barrable, it's Rabbit, Willie Lawrence, Declan Burke, Seamus Ryan. They're probably all changed by the time I read them out. There's about 4 cars abreast and sideways stuff again from Declan Burke. Beautifully held as he tries to get by Willie Lawrence at Campion Corner. That's made him a little bit slower, and Seamus Ryan has got the run on him. Ryan on the outside, Burke on the inside. Hogan looking for a space there as well. And Ryan knows you've got to tuck back in there. And look at this. The 2 brother-in-laws having a go. Hogan all round goes Seamus Ryan. Not a great place to park, but recovers beautifully. Everybody else goes around the outside of him. Good stuff. I was just saying Derek Hogan and Owen Lawler shaping up there. They're 2 brothers-in-law, or brother-in-laws. Hogan got away a little bit there. There's Moylan. 1 minute 13 to go. Probably starting his last lap now, I'd imagine. Going to be marginal, but I don't think they get another lap after this one. No, they won't. This is great stuff from Willie Lawrence, holding back the whole pack. Driving beautifully all day. Very impressive stuff for 77. Peter Barrable safe in second place. Declan Burke goes in so late in the brakes, but he can't quite get around the outside there. Or can he? He can possibly. He gets alongside. He's got the inside. He can do on the last lap. That's a great move from 46 Declan Burke there. So late in the brakes, sat around the outside, just had that line for Campion Corner. Derek Hogan next up now. He's got by Keith Rabbit, and he wants to have a go at Willie Lawrence on the final lap. His car's a little bit smoky as well, isn't it? As they come up out of turn 3. Sideways stuff for Moylan as he comes down to the checkered flag. That's a great performance by him, and isn't he great to watch in the car? Across the line he goes. So the car driven by Robert Barrable in the UK rounds this year. POB owned car. And it's Peter Barrable second. Declan Burke third, and a great drive again from Willie Lawrence. And Derek Hogan gets up to 5th. Owen Lawler, the entertainer, Keith Rabbit falls back to 7th on the final lap. Then Lee Malone, Richard Spence, Anthony Malone, and Seamus Ryan, with Kevin O'Donoghue coming through there, and Scott Jackson. So fantastic stuff from legends. There's the leaderboard. Jamie Moylan takes the win. Peter Barrable, Declan Burke, Willie Lawrence, Derek Hogan, Owen Lawler, Keith Rabbit, Lee Malone, Richard Spence, and Anthony Malone. So there you go, a great way to wrap up the weekend. Irish Legends, absolutely fantastic entertainment from them. Paul O'Brien and his team doing a great job. Great entertainment from them. The hot weather probably didn't suit them, but they gave us fantastic racing. Jamie Moylan, really, really good to watch. Great racing all day long. Zetec safety, Zetec didn't really get a full race in their first race with safety cars and stuff, but they got a great race in the second race. Absolutely fantastic stuff. I suppose the man of the weekend has to be Michael Cullen with 4 wins over the weekend and 5 wins for his team. for LOH Motorsport, but the entertainment has been good, the racing has been good, and this is only the second round of the Digital Motorsports ICCR. We're back here on the long circuit, the international circuit, next month in June. If you want more information on any of the classes, ICCR.ie, just click on classes. If you want to go racing, just click on the Go Racing button. If you want to come down and drive a car at Mondello Park, mondellopark.ie. You can drive Porsches, single-seaters, Ferraris, anything you want down here. New rally experience as well. So it's been a great weekend. Irish motor racing still on the up, and some fantastic entertainment. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, and we'll be back here. Big thank you to our marshals, to our officials, to the safety car driver who got a lot of mileage this weekend. Our marshals as ever did a great job, the rescue crew, and of course wonderful work by See It Live for Martin Kavanagh and his crew. I think the onboard coverage today was absolutely fantastic. It might have been the kiss of death, but it gave us great entertainment. We're back at Mondello Park for ICCR Round 3 next month here at Mondello.
Continental Tires, Irish Compact Car of the Year 2023. Speaks for itself. The new Opel Astra.
Square left onto the Yeah, that's good. Good drive. Keep on. Keep on, keep on, keep on. Rev it up, rev it up. Go, yeah, go, go, go. One right, immediately followed by a 5 right. Keep it lit, keep it lit, keep it lit. Come on, keep on, keep on, keep on.